Hello, today I will share with you the best of Stoic philosophy. I know you probably use this video to fall asleep, so before starting, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also comment, where are you from and at what time are you watching? Now get comfortable and relax. Life's most challenging truth is often this: the only barrier between where you are and where you want to be is your decision to rise. It's not luck. It's not perfect timing, and it's not even raw talent. It's you, right here, right now, choosing to believe you're capable of more. This isn't about waiting for the stars to align or for life to hand you an opportunity. The Stoics knew better. Epictetus taught that while we can't control external events, we always control how we respond to them. And today, we're focusing on one of the most transformative responses you can have: the decision to act as if you're the best. Let's be honest, doubt is universal. That nagging voice whispering you're not ready, not qualified, not enough. But what if you didn't need to wait until you felt ready? What if the secret to becoming the best was deciding to carry yourself like you already are? The truth is, progress isn't made by waiting for the perfect moment. It's made by stepping forward with confidence and intent, even when the path ahead feels uncertain. Marcus Aurelius, in his daily reflections, reminded himself to focus on his own actions and to embody virtue in all circumstances. That's what we're diving into today, the mindset shift that can reshape how you face challenges, pursue goals, and live your life. This isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about unlocking your full potential by embracing the power you already have. If this resonates with you, I have a small favor to ask. Hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it helps us bring more of this content to people like you. Now let's get started. 1. The power of deciding to be the best. The moment you decide to live up to your full potential is the moment your life starts to change. It's not about waiting for the right opportunity or hoping for external circumstances to improve. It's about making an internal decision. A decision to show up every day as the best version of yourself. This idea echoes the teachings of the Stoics, who believe that our true power lies in how we choose to approach life. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The decision to be the best begins with that mindset. This mindset isn't about being perfect or better than others. It's about setting a standard for yourself and committing to continuous growth. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful emperors in history, constantly reminded himself to act with virtue, not for glory or praise, but because it was the right thing to do. He believed that every day was an opportunity to strive for excellence, not in competition with others, but in competition with his own potential. When you decide to be the best, you're not saying you'll never make mistakes or face challenges. The Stoics were clear that life is full of obstacles, but they also believed that these obstacles are what shape us. By deciding to be the best, you choose to face those challenges head-on, using them as opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. This is where your life starts to transform. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the choice now, in this moment, to act with purpose and confidence. From this decision, everything else flows. You raise your standards, your actions align with your goals, and you begin to move closer to the person you know you can be. That's the power of deciding to be the best. 2. What if I'm not the best? Some of you might be thinking, but I'm not the best. I'm nowhere close. How can I act as if I am? And that's completely understandable. It's natural to feel like you're not at the top. But here's the thing. You don't have to be the best to act like the best. The beauty of this mindset is that it works even when you're not at the top. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean pretending or being delusional. It's about shifting your mindset to unlock your full potential, and that starts with how you view yourself. This aligns perfectly with Stoicism. The Stoics believed that we have control over our mindset and how we respond to life's challenges. So, even if you're not the best right now, you can still choose to carry yourself with confidence, discipline, and purpose, traits that the best exemplify. When you act as if you're the best, something powerful starts to happen. You begin to believe it. And when you believe it, you start to become it. This isn't some magical thinking or false confidence. It's a proven psychological shift that affects your actions. The Stoics taught us that our beliefs shape our behaviors. When we act as if we are capable and competent, we become more so. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy, a concept the Stoics were well aware of. Take a job interview, for example. If you walk in nervous, doubting yourself and thinking you're not good enough, you're likely going to perform poorly. But if you walk in with the mindset that you are the best person for the job, carrying yourself with confidence, speaking clearly about your skills, and believing in your value, that changes everything. Even if you don't get the job, that shift in mindset prepares you for the next opportunity. You've practiced confidence and built resilience, which will serve you moving forward. So, when you say to yourself, "I'm not the best," the Stoics would remind you, that's not the point. The point is to act as if you are. By doing so, you align your actions with the person you want to become, and your ability to control your life will improve. So, the goal isn't to be perfect, but to continuously strive for excellence, always improving, just as Stoic philosophy teaches us. 3. Why acting like you're the best matters. When I say act as if you are the best, I don't mean strutting around like you're better than everyone else. Far from it. Acting like you're the best isn't about looking down on others or becoming arrogant. It's about holding yourself to the highest possible standard and striving for excellence, not for external validation, but for your own growth. So when I say act as if you're the best, I'm talking about adopting the mindset of someone who is already at the top of their game. This is the kind of mindset we're after. Acting like you're the best isn't about pretending to know everything or never making mistakes. It's about showing up with the belief that you are fully capable of handling whatever comes your way. This belief shapes your actions. When you believe you're the best, you act like it. You carry yourself with confidence, and people notice. The Stoics would remind us that this confidence isn't external, it's internal. It comes from knowing that you're living in alignment with your values and doing your best in every situation. The key difference here is that arrogance seeks to elevate you above others, but acting like you're the best is about lifting yourself up to your own highest potential. It's about striving for excellence while staying humble and grounded, just like the Stoics taught. You're not aiming for perfection, but for progress, always working on yourself, always learning, and always moving forward. Or practice makes reality. When you hear the phrase, act as if you're the best, it might feel like pretending at first, and maybe, in a sense, it is. But here's the truth. What you consistently practice becomes your reality. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca famously said, "We become what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This means that the more you practice something, whether it's confidence, discipline, or resilience, the more it becomes part of who you are. Let's break this down. When you start acting as if you're the best, it might feel unnatural. You might think, who am I to carry myself with such confidence? But the beauty of human nature is that we are incredibly adaptable. The Stoics believed that we are shaped by our thoughts and actions. If you consistently act with confidence, you start to feel more confident. If you make disciplined choices in your life, over time, you become more disciplined. While away this summer, it's not about faking it forever. It's about practicing the qualities you want to embody until they become second nature. Think of it like building a muscle. At first, lifting weights feels hard, even uncomfortable, but as you keep practicing, your strength grows. Acting as if you're the best works the same way. Each time you practice it, you reinforce that mindset, and eventually it becomes less of an act and more of a habit. The Stoics understood this process. Epictetus often reminded his students that we have control over how we respond to the world. By practicing virtuous actions, we align our inner selves with the kind of person we want to become. Let's say you want to become more confident in social situations. At first, you might feel awkward, like you're putting on a show. But the more you practice standing tall, speaking clearly, and engaging with others, the more you begin to feel that confidence. Eventually, it stops feeling like an act, and you realize that you've actually become more comfortable in these situations. The same goes for any area of life. If you practice making healthy choices, over time you become someone who naturally lives a healthier lifestyle. If you practice managing your finances well, you eventually become someone who is financially secure. The Stoic idea of practicing virtue teaches us that we don't have to wait for change to happen. We can create it through our daily actions. The key is consistency. It's not about doing it once and expecting a transformation. It's about showing up every day and practicing the qualities that align with your highest potential. Over time, what started as practice becomes your reality. You become the best version of yourself by repeatedly acting like it. As the Stoics taught, your actions shape your character, and your character shapes your life. So, keep practicing because your reality is being built by what you do each day. 5. Continuous growth. The Stoics believed in the importance of continuous growth, and that's exactly what this mindset is all about. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean you think you've reached perfection or that you can stop improving. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about committing to a life of constant learning, discipline, and refinement. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This means that no matter how good you become, there's always room for growth. The best people in any field, whether it's a skilled athlete, a successful business person, or a wise philosopher, never stop improving. They remain students of life. When you act as if you're the best, you're committing to this same process of mastery. You're saying, "I'm going to carry myself like the best, and I'm going to put in the work to become the best." This mindset is rooted in humility, not arrogance. The Stoics valued humility deeply. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, constantly reminded himself to stay grounded and continue improving. He didn't see his position as the end of the road, but as a responsibility to strive for personal excellence every day. When you adopt this mindset, you're doing the same. You're striving to be better today than you were yesterday, knowing that growth is a lifelong pursuit. Acting as if you're the best means raising your own standards. It means taking responsibility for your personal development in every area of life. In your relationships, for example, it's about asking yourself, what would the best version of me do? How would the best partner, the best friend, or the best parent behave? It's not about pretending to be perfect, but about continuously working to improve and show up as the best version of yourself. It's about continuously working to improve and show up as the best version of yourself. In your health, it means acting as if you're in the best shape of your life. How would you treat your body if you believed you were capable of achieving peak health? What choices would you make in terms of your diet, exercise, and habits? The Stoic path is one of self-discipline and making intentional choices that lead to long-term well-being. 6. Facing weakness. Embracing your shortcomings. When we talk about acting as if you're the best, it's easy to think it means ignoring your flaws or pretending they don't exist. But in reality, it's the opposite. Acting like you're the best means having the courage to face your weaknesses head-on and use them as opportunities for growth. The Stoics were masters at this. They taught that self-awareness and honest reflection are essential for improvement. Healthy, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By the time of his death, Marcus Aurelius had become part of that power is understanding where we fall short. Not to feel ashamed, but to learn and grow. The best people in any field aren't those who believe they're flawless. They are the ones who understand their shortcomings better than anyone else. But they don't let those shortcomings define them. Instead, they use them as motivation to keep improving. The Stoics believed in embracing challenges and discomfort as part of life's natural course. Epictetus reminded us that the path to mastery requires us to face obstacles with resilience. When we see our weaknesses clearly, we can approach them with a mindset of progress. Think about it this way. If you ignore your weaknesses, they don't go away. In fact, they tend to grow bigger and more disruptive over time. But if you acknowledge them and take steps to improve, you become stronger. The Stoics didn't see weakness as failure. They saw it as an opportunity to practice arete, which means striving for excellence. When you face your weaknesses, you're giving yourself the chance to become better, more disciplined, and more capable. This process requires humility. Acting like you're the best doesn't mean you think you're perfect. It means you're committed to continuous growth. You can be confident in your strengths while being fully aware of where you need to improve. The Stoics, especially Seneca, often wrote about the importance of learning from every experience, even failures. In fact, Seneca believed that failure and setbacks are often our greatest teachers. They reveal where we need to grow and push us to develop the skills or mindset we might lack. The key is to see your weaknesses not as something to be ashamed of, but as a natural part of your development. By facing them with honesty and a desire to improve, you take control of your growth. This is where true strength lies, in the ability to confront what's holding you back and work to overcome it. And the Stoic approach is to view life's challenges, including your own shortcomings, as fuel for becoming a better, more resilient person. When you act as if you're the best, you're not pretending to be perfect. Instead, you're showing that you have the strength to face your weaknesses, learn from them, and grow into the person you aspire to be. This mindset will carry you forward, just as it did for the Stoics, who embraced their flaws, learned from them, and continued on their path toward excellence. Learning graces rather than self-complicity. 7. Elevate those around you. When you act as if you're the best, it's not just about improving your own life. It's about raising the bar for everyone around you. The Stoics believed in the concept of sympathia, the idea that we are all connected and that our actions impact the whole. When you strive for excellence, you inspire others to do the same. Your confidence, discipline, and commitment to growth naturally elevate the people you interact with, whether it's in your family, your friendships, or your workplace. Think about how it feels to be around someone who carries themselves with purpose and clarity. Their energy is contagious. They don't need to say it, but their actions, their presence, show others what's possible. This is how you can influence others, by leading by example. When you act as if you're the best, you become a source of inspiration for those who might be struggling with self-doubt or uncertainty. You show them that it's possible to rise above challenges by adopting the right mindset and staying focused on what truly matters. The Stoics were not concerned with competition in the way we often think of it today. They believed in helping others achieve virtue and wisdom. When you raise your standards and strive for excellence, you're not just lifting yourself. You're creating an environment where those around you feel encouraged to rise with you. Acting as if you're the best means embodying qualities that others respect and want to emulate. By doing this, you not only improve your own life but also contribute to the growth and success of the people in your circle. It's a ripple effect of positive change, just as the Stoics would have intended. 8. How to handle failure. Failure is something we all face, and the Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that failure is not something to be feared, but rather an inevitable part of life's journey. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path toward it. When you act as if you're the best, it doesn't mean you believe you'll never fail. It means you approach failure with resilience, knowing that every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control. You can't always control the outcome, but you can control how you respond to failure. Instead of seeing failure as a personal defeat, See it as feedback, a lesson on what didn't work and how you can improve. Epictetus reminded his students that we should accept failure as part of life and use it to build our character. Failure isn't a reason to give up, but a reason to keep going, armed with more knowledge and experience. When you face failure with the Stoic mindset, you stop seeing it as something to avoid. Instead, you embrace it as a chance to practice perseverance and adaptability. The best people in any field, whether in business, sports, or philosophy, aren't those who never fail, but those who know how to bounce back stronger each time. As the Stoics taught, our true strength comes from how we rise after we fall. So the next time you fail, remember that it's not the end of the story. It's a crucial step on your journey to greatness. Acting as if you're the best isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. The Stoics believed in the importance of consistent, deliberate action. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urged himself to approach each day with purpose and intention. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Second sermon. This practice of showing up every day with the commitment to excellence is how you move closer to becoming the best version of yourself. The beauty of this mindset is that you don't need to wait until you feel ready. The Stoics knew that waiting for the perfect moment often leads to inaction. Instead, they taught us to start where we are, with what we have. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. By acting as if you're the best each day, you're practicing the qualities that will eventually define you. Over time, what started as a conscious effort becomes part of your character. Ever heard the saying, "Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm"? It's a powerful reminder, connected to ancient Stoic wisdom, about the importance of balancing kindness with self-care. Yet, in today's rush to be seen as good, to always be the one who gives, many have twisted the noble act of kindness into a self-destructive habit. We are often told to go above and beyond, to push our limits for the sake of others. But at what cost? The truth is, too much kindness, when it drains your own resources, energy, and well-being, is not a virtue, but a path to ruin. Many have lost their way, giving so much of themselves that they're left feeling empty, unappreciated, and burned out. It's a modern-day tragedy, where the best of intentions lead to the worst of outcomes. Stoicism shows us another way, a way to be generous without losing oneself, a way to be kind, but also kind to oneself. It teaches us the art of balanced generosity, ensuring our actions enrich others' lives, while also safeguarding our own well-being. In this video, we'll unveil how Stoic principles can help you set healthy boundaries so your kindness becomes a source of strength, not depletion. We'll explore how to give without losing, love without hurting, and be there for others without disappearing from our own lives. Stay with us as we navigate the fine line between generosity and self-preservation, guided by the wisdom of Stoicism. 1. Don't set yourself on fire to warm others. Too much kindness can become a trap, one that Marcus Aurelius, a wise Stoic philosopher, would caution us against. Imagine yourself as someone who always rushes to help others, never saying no. It's like giving out pieces of yourself until there's nothing left. You become the person who's always there for others, but when you look around, you find yourself standing alone in your time of need. It's not just about being kind, it's about being kind to yourself as well. Marcus would remind us that our first duty is to our own well-being. Without it, we can't genuinely be there for others. Consider the story of two neighboring gardeners, one who meticulously cared for their own garden, and another who, despite having their own plot, frequently tended to everyone else's gardens. The diligent gardener, understanding the importance of self-care, nurtured their garden with the right balance of attention and resources, resulting in a vibrant and flourishing space. This gardener's plot was not only a source of personal joy, but also provided surplus produce to share with neighbors. On the other hand, the disproportionately giving gardener spent so much time and effort on others' gardens that their own plot became neglected. Without proper care, their garden wilted and the yields were meager. In their quest to be helpful, they overlooked their own needs, leaving their garden, and metaphorically, themselves depleted. Let this be a reminder to reflect before diving headfirst into helping others. Ask yourself, is this help sustainable? Am I preserving my well-being? The ancient Stoics would encourage us to practice Stoicism by setting healthy boundaries and ensuring that, in our quest to be kind, we do not forget to be kind to ourselves. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup. In Stoicism, the aim is to maintain your inner peace and integrity while contributing positively to the lives of others, ensuring a balanced and fulfilling life for both you and those you wish to help. 2. Reciprocity has an expiration date. Generosity is a virtue that enriches our lives and those around us, yet it harbors a subtle trap when done without moderation. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy still echoing wisdom in our modern hustle, teaches us a critical lesson about the limits of kindness. Offering help with an open heart is noble, but expecting the same measure of generosity in return can lead us down a path of disappointment. Life has a way of showing us that the good we do today might not be remembered tomorrow. This isn't a reflection of our worth or the value of our deeds, but a natural drift of human memory and gratitude. Consider the act of giving as planting a tree. You nurture it, hoping it will grow and perhaps one day offer shade or fruit. But nature has its course. Storms, droughts, and seasons change. Similarly, when we extend kindness, we must detach from the expectation of a direct return. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, advise us to focus on our actions, not their outcomes. Some things are within our control, and some things are not, he stated, reminding us that the joy of giving should come from the act itself, not from the anticipation of repayment. Embracing this mindset shields us from the sting of unmet expectations. It teaches us emotional resilience, allowing us to continue being kind and generous without feeling depleted or taken advantage of. This doesn't mean we should harden our hearts, but rather that we should find balance. Recognize the impact of your kindness as a reflection of your character, not a transaction. By doing so, we not only protect our peace of mind, but also cultivate a form of generosity that is pure, self-sustaining, and genuinely fulfilling. This Stoic principle encourages us to give freely but wisely, ensuring our kindness enriches us, regardless of how the world responds. In your daily interactions, how can you apply the principle of giving without expectation? Think about a specific scenario where you can offer kindness or support without seeking anything in return. Consider the practical steps you might take to ensure your generosity remains a source of personal fulfillment rather than depletion. 3. Received requests have no limits. Reflecting on history, it's fascinating to observe the extreme services royalty demanded, from dressing to personal hygiene, all performed by attendants. Fast forward to today, and it's clear that people still have expectations of us, often asking for favors they could easily handle themselves. Stoicism shines a light on this, teaching us the value of setting boundaries and embracing moderation. This ancient philosophy serves as a beacon, guiding us through the sea of endless requests, enabling us to act with intention and preserve our emotional well-being. It isn't about denying help, but about finding balance, ensuring we don't lose ourselves while supporting others. Take, for instance, the poignant tale of a mother and her adult daughter in a quaint town. The mother, out of love, cared for her daughter to the point of preventing her from embracing her responsibilities. This dynamic continued until the mother's untimely demise, which surprisingly catalyzed the daughter's independence. This story underlines a crucial lesson. While our intentions may be pure, excessive support can inadvertently stifle growth. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, encapsulated this wisdom in his meditation. A man's job is to stand upright, not to be kept upright by others. This insight urges us to encourage self-reliance, fostering a balance that benefits everyone involved. Seneca, with his profound insights into human connections, observed, "He who begins to be your friend because of the benefit will also cease because of the benefit." This serves as a powerful reminder to nurture relationships based on genuine connections rather than transactional interactions. True friendship and support should not hinge on what we can offer, but on mutual respect and understanding. Stoicism teaches us to value ourselves not for what we can give, but for who we are, cultivating self-esteem and authentic connections. Stoicism empowers us to embrace moderation, setting boundaries to protect our well-being while still extending genuine support to others. By prioritizing our responsibilities and honoring our needs, we not only preserve our authenticity, but also engage in more meaningful acts of generosity. This balanced approach to life and relationships ensures that we remain true to ourselves and our values, leading a life of virtue and fulfillment as we navigate the demands of modern life. Let us remember that being mindful of our own needs is not selfishness, but a necessary act of self-care. 4. Being seen and treated as fragile. Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson about inner resilience and self-command. It's about building a fortress within, honing the art of self-restraint, and drawing clear lines in the sand that define our personal space. Over time, constantly bending over backward for others can ironically lead to being perceived as weak. Without firm boundaries, we become exposed, easily exploited by those who see our generosity not as a strength, but as an opening to take advantage of. This cycle of overextension and exploitation drains us, leaving us feeling undervalued and overburdened. Yet the moment we start to assertively say no, a shift occurs. We're no longer the go-to for every request or demand. This assertiveness broadcasts a newfound respect for ourselves, signaling to others that we value our time and energy, warranting their respect in return. Cicero, a luminary in Stoic philosophy, encapsulated this when he asserted, "What you think of yourself is much more important than what others think of you." By setting boundaries and exercising self-discipline, we not only protect our mental and emotional well-being, but also command respect from those around us. Remember, the power of no is transformative. It's a declaration of self-worth and a testament to the respect you demand from the world. Embrace this mantra and watch as it reshapes the dynamics of your relationships, fostering mutual respect grounded in dignity and self-value. However, embodying this change isn't without its challenges. Being universally available often attracts those seeking aid, sidelining you when the time for celebration comes. It's a harsh reality where your open-heartedness might lead to exclusion from moments of joy, confined to the role of the helper, absent in times of leisure. This realization, though bitter, serves as a litmus test for discerning genuine connections from opportunistic ones. It's an exercise in recognizing the true value of relationships, encouraging a mindful approach to whom we offer our time and energy. Did you know that the practice of setting boundaries, a core principle of not only improves our personal well-being, but also enhances the quality of our relationships? It's a curious but true aspect of human psychology. When we respect ourselves enough to say no, we often gain the respect of others. This paradoxical effect highlights the transformative power of self-respect and the importance of discernment in our connections. By embracing wisdom, we not only protect ourselves from burnout, but also cultivate relationships that are truly enriching and reciprocal. If you have learned anything of value so far, leave a thumbs up to show your support. Now, let's discuss strategies to avoid being used by others and to avoid the dangers of too much kindness. First strategy: eliminate the fear of saying no. Reflect deeply on why the word no often feels so heavy, tracing its weight back to early lessons that equated niceness with acceptance. Such lessons, deeply ingrained during our formative years, come laced with a fear of rejection, shaping a belief system that equates our worth with perpetual accommodation. Yet the philosophy of Stoicism invites us to challenge and reject these ingrained notions, advocating for a life of deliberate choice rather than one led by the undercurrents of past conditioning. As adults, we wield the autonomy to redefine our interactions, recognizing that the fears instilled in us as children no longer hold sway. Through the lens of Stoicism, we're equipped with the mental tools to analyze our emotions, allowing us to respond to life's demands with thoughtfulness rather than being puppeteered by past habits. Asserting boundaries by saying no, especially when requests encroach upon our well-being or sense of fairness, becomes not just an act of defiance against outdated fears, but a profound exercise in self-respect and autonomy. However, it's crucial to balance our newfound assertiveness with empathy and emotional intelligence. Stoicism doesn't merely advocate for self-interest or isolation, but stresses the importance of contributing positively to our community and the lives of those around us. The philosophy encourages us to find a middle ground where we can offer help and support to others without compromising our well-being. This is where emotional intelligence comes into play, allowing us to discern when and how to help in a manner that is both beneficial to others and sustainable for us. Recognizing the genuine needs of others while also being mindful of our own limits is a testament to true wisdom. It ensures that our acts of kindness are not only acts of self-discipline, but also of compassion and understanding, fostering a society where mutual respect and support thrive. Second strategy: pay attention to your feelings. Embracing Stoicism nudges us toward introspection and mindfulness, guiding us to scrutinize our thoughts and emotions while fostering mental resilience. This ancient wisdom encourages us to become custodians of our inner peace by observing our reactions and feelings, especially in acts of generosity. It teaches us that true fulfillment in assisting others should elevate us, akin to the buoyancy of clouds. Conversely, feelings of exhaustion, irritation, or exploitation signal a need to recalibrate. It's essential to recognize when our contributions, though not obligatory, begin to erode our serenity. Acknowledging this discomfort is not self-deception, but a courageous act of self-care, ensuring that our benevolence remains a source of joy rather than a drain on our spirit. Third strategy: see yourself as a priority. It's easy to become a maestro in the most obscure fields, yet completely overlook our own well-being. Echoing the Stoic virtues of discipline and self-esteem, carving out moments for self-care is non-negotiable. Stoicism, after all, nurtures the soul, teaching us the art of self-preservation. So, sidestep self-neglect, nurture your physical, emotional, and mental health, and acknowledge your presence. Elevate your needs. This approach demands your full commitment. Embrace your entirety. Forgive your past missteps, and view the unfolding year as a canvas for Stoic renewal. Select an endeavor solely for your pleasure, honoring this time as a testament to self-love. Uphold your boundaries without guilt in declining others if demands encroach on your sanctuary. Offer assistance within your constraints, underscoring that your personal revival takes precedence. Fourth strategy: identify the takers. Embracing Stoic virtues like self-discipline and discernment empowers us to distinguish relationships that enrich us from those that deplete our spirit. Engaging with individuals who perpetually demand more creates dependency and depletes our ability to preserve and deploy our time effectively. Be it in terms of attention, time, or resources, mirrors a dynamic where we, the nurturers, are left exhausted, our energy sapped by the insatiable. Stoicism teaches us the value of inner fortitude, reminding us that change is a door only one can unlock for oneself. Believing we can transform others through sheer goodwill is a fallacy. True transformation is a personal journey, ignited by individual willpower, not external interventions. This philosophy doesn't advocate for cold-heartedness, but champions a balanced approach to relationships. It's a dance of give and take, where excessive generosity can leave us barren, while stinginess isolates us. Stoicism encourages us to harness our capacity for kindness and generosity, yet also to wield the sword of discernment, cutting ties when necessary for our well-being. It's about finding equilibrium, ensuring our acts of kindness are not at the expense of our own vitality. Remember, the strongest relationships are those where both parties grow, not where one withers so the other can bloom. Stoicism invites us to strike a balance, compelling us to carefully evaluate our actions and their impacts. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining equilibrium in our generosity, urging us not to exhaust our resources to the detriment of our primary objective, living a fulfilling life. Conversely, it warns against being overly cautious in our giving, suggesting instead that we use our generosity wisely. Seneca, a luminary of Stoic thought, captures this ethos perfectly. Kindness is a treasure. A benefit should be kept like a buried treasure, to be unearthed only in case of necessity. His words encourage us to be prepared to act benevolently towards others, acknowledging the deep bond that connects all humans. We recommend watching our video on how to become happy in 2025. What resonated with you most in today's discussion? Let us know in the comments. If this message was valuable to you and you're curious to learn more about how Stoicism can enhance your life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support is crucial in helping us share knowledge and continue creating content that resonates with you. Together, let's build a community of curious minds eager to learn and grow. Ever found yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering how to muster the strength for another day? We've all been there, or at least most of us have. Those moments when life feels like a relentless storm, and all you're looking for is a beacon to guide you through? Well, you're not alone. Now, if you're new here, or haven't done it yet, hit that notification bell and subscribe. Why? Because we're about to dive deep into 8 lessons that have the power to transform hard days into stepping stones. 1. Embrace the present moment. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs at us. Sometimes it feels like we're juggling a million things at once, and the weight of the world is on our shoulders. Remember that time when you felt the weight of a looming deadline or the sting of a recent heartbreak? But here's a secret. The power to overcome these challenges lies in the present moment. It's easy to get lost in the worries of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. Yet, the only moment we truly have control over is the one happening right now. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote isn't just a fancy string of words. It's a call to action. It reminds us that while we can't always control what happens around us, we can control how we react. By focusing on the present, we can make choices that align with our values and, in doing so, find peace amidst the chaos. So, next time you find yourself overwhelmed, take a deep breath and ground yourself in the present. Feel the air around you, listen to the sounds, and remind yourself that this moment, right here and now, is where your power lies. By embracing the present, you're not just surviving the hard days, you're thriving in them. With each passing moment, you're building resilience, wisdom, and strength for whatever comes next. 2. Practice gratitude. Amidst the struggles and hustle of our daily lives, it's all too easy to focus on what we lack, the missed opportunities, the things we desire but don't have, and the challenges that seem insurmountable. Yet there's a simple practice that can shift our perspective and bring light to even the darkest days. Gratitude. By taking a moment to acknowledge the good in our lives, we not only find contentment, but also build a foundation of resilience against life's storms. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, elegantly stated, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This wisdom reminds us that joy doesn't come from always wanting more, but from appreciating what we already have. Whether it's the warmth of a friend's smile, the comfort of a home, or the simple pleasure of a cup of tea, there's always something to be thankful for. In that cup of tea, perhaps you can taste the memories of laughter shared with loved ones, or the solace it provided on a cold, lonely night. By recognizing these moments and cherishing them, we cultivate a mindset that sees the silver lining in every cloud. Gratitude, however, isn't just about acknowledging the good times. It's also about finding grace in our struggles. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. So when the going gets tough, remember to pause and find something, no matter how small, to be grateful for. This practice won't change the situation, but it will change how you face it. And often, that makes all the difference. 3. Cultivate inner strength. Life's journey is much like sailing on vast, unpredictable seas. Some days are calm and serene, while others bring fierce storms that challenge our very core. It's during these tempests that our inner strength becomes our most valuable asset. This strength isn't about physical might. It's about the resilience of the spirit, the fortitude of the mind, and the courage of the heart. It's that quiet whisper in the midst of chaos, urging us to hold on just a little longer. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher of great renown, once proclaimed, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words serve as a beacon, guiding us to understand that our reactions, shaped by our inner strength, define our journey. External events, no matter how daunting, have power over us only if we grant them that authority. By cultivating a robust inner self, we can face adversity with grace, turning obstacles into stepping stones toward personal growth. Building this inner strength requires consistent effort. It's about daily choices, small acts of courage, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. It's about seeking wisdom, learning from experiences, and understanding that every setback is a lesson in disguise. As we nurture this strength within, we not only equip ourselves to weather life's storms, but also to sail toward horizons we once thought unreachable. Remember, it's not the absence of challenges that defines a fulfilling life, but the ability to rise above them with unwavering inner strength. 4. Practice patience. Have you ever watched a flower bloom? It doesn't rush to unveil its beauty. It takes its time, unfolding petal by petal, revealing its splendor in its own perfect moment. Much like that flower, our lives, too, have a rhythm, a pace at which things are meant to happen. Just as the flower doesn't hasten its bloom, we too must learn the art of patience. Each time you held a loved one's hand during a silent moment, wasn't the unspoken bond felt more deeply than words could convey? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once mused, "Time is a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us, and another follows and is gone." This profound reflection reminds us that time, with its relentless flow, carries with it both challenges and triumphs. Our impatience often stems from a desire to control this flow, to hasten the good and avoid the bad. Yet true strength lies in understanding that we cannot command the river of time, but we can choose how we navigate its waters. Patience isn't merely about waiting. It's about waiting with purpose. It's about understanding that every moment has its significance, even if it's not immediately apparent. When we practice patience, we're not just biding our time. We're actively preparing, growing, and evolving so that when the right moment arrives, we're ready to embrace it fully. So, the next time you find yourself growing impatient, remember the blooming flower and the flowing river. Understand that your moment will come, and when it does, it will be worth the wait. 5. Understand what is within your control. Life's a bit like a stormy night. Thunder rumbles, lightning strikes, and the wind howls, trying to knock you off your feet. You can't command the storm to stop, nor can you dictate the path of the lightning. But you can choose to light a candle, find shelter, and hold tight to what keeps you grounded. It's not about controlling the storm, but understanding what's within your grasp and what isn't. Epictetus, a Stoic thinker from a time long past, whispered a truth that still echoes today. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. It's a simple yet profound realization. We waste so much energy fretting over things beyond our reach, things we can't change, no matter how hard we try. But what if, instead, we focused on what we can influence? Our reactions, our emotions, our decisions. These are the candles we can light against the darkness. So, when life's tempests rage, remember this: you have the power to choose. You can't halt the rain or silence the thunder, but you can decide how you'll dance in the rain or whether you'll cower from the noise. Recognizing what's within your control is liberating. It's the first step toward not just enduring life's storms, but thriving amidst them. And as the dawn breaks, you'll find that the storm wasn't the story. It was how you chose to face it. 6. Learn from adversity. Imagine, for a moment, a blacksmith forging a blade. The metal, once raw and unshaped, undergoes intense heat and forceful hammering. Yet with each strike, it becomes sharper, stronger, more refined. Similarly, life's adversities, though they may seem harsh and unyielding, have the potential to shape us, refine our character, and mold us into better versions of ourselves. Seneca, an ancient Stoic philosopher, once declared, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." These words, though centuries old, resonate with timeless truth. Challenges, setbacks, and hardships aren't mere obstacles in our path. They are opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to learn, and to discover strengths we never knew we possessed. Every trial we face is a lesson in disguise, waiting to be unraveled. Embracing adversity doesn't mean seeking out hardships or reveling in pain. It means recognizing the inherent value in our struggles. It's about shifting our perspective, from seeing challenges as burdens to viewing them as stepping stones toward wisdom and growth. So, when you find yourself amidst life's fiery trials, remember the blacksmith and his blade. Understand that with the right mindset, adversity can be the very force that shapes you into a masterpiece. 7. Seek wisdom. Wisdom isn't a gift bestowed upon a chosen few. It's a treasure, often hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with the courage and determination to seek it out. The very fact that you've journeyed this far, delving into these lessons, is a testament to your genuine pursuit of wisdom. Your commitment is commendable, and it's a clear sign that you're on the right path. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca once remarked, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This isn't merely a call to gather knowledge, but an invitation to seek deeper understanding, to question, to reflect, and to grow. True wisdom isn't about knowing all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and having the humility to learn from both successes and failures. Actively seeking wisdom requires an open heart and a curious mind. It's about listening more than speaking, observing more than showing, and understanding that every person you meet, every experience you encounter, holds a lesson. Wisdom isn't a destination, it's a journey that enriches the soul, sharpens the mind, and broadens the horizon. So, as you continue on this path, remember to cherish every step, every insight, and every revelation. For in the quest for wisdom, the journey itself is the greatest reward. 8. Cultivate compassion. Have you ever paused to consider the battles others might be fighting, hidden behind their smiles or silent gazes? Our journey through life is unique, filled with its own set of challenges and joys. Yet amidst our personal struggles, there lies an opportunity, a golden thread that can weave us closer to others. The act of compassion. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What injures the hive, injures the bee." This sentiment, though simple, carries profound depth. When we extend kindness, understanding, and empathy toward others, we're not just aiding them, we're nurturing the collective human spirit. Compassion isn't just about feeling pity or sorrow for someone's misfortunes. It's about understanding their pain as if it were your own, and taking steps, however small, to alleviate it. Cultivating compassion requires a conscious effort. It's about listening more than speaking, feeling more than judging, and acting more than merely observing. In a world that often feels divided, compassion serves as a bridge, connecting hearts and mending wounds. By embracing this virtue, we not only uplift others, but also find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment in our own lives. After all, in the grand tapestry of existence, our threads are interwoven. When we choose compassion, we're choosing a richer, more harmonious design for all. These 8 Stoic lessons will fortify your resilience, serenity, and determination during challenging times. By embracing them consistently, you'll be equipped to lead a virtuous and content life amidst the chaos and unpredictability of the world. But don't just take my word for it. Put these lessons into practice and witness the transformative results. If you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and comment below with "I will keep going" or "I never give up" to signify your dedication to these teachings. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more lessons on ancient wisdom. Doing so not only supports us, but also helps us reach more individuals seeking this guidance. It's a harsh reality, but some people in our lives take pleasure in causing harm and chaos. Think about it. You could be sharing moments, trusting someone, only to discover they are the very source of your turmoil. Today, we dive deep into a topic that's as fascinating as it is frightening, recognizing the signs you're dealing with an evil person. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, these individuals can be masters of deception, hiding their true nature behind charm and charisma. Today, we're not just exploring this dark side of human behavior out of curiosity. Understanding these signs can be life-changing. The Stoics believed in the power of perception and the importance of living a life guided by reason and virtue. By identifying and understanding these toxic traits, we can protect our peace of mind and cultivate healthier relationships, staying true to the principles of wisdom and self-control. Stay with us as we uncover 5 telltale signs of an evil person. By the end of this video, you'll not only be better equipped to spot these behaviors, but also learn practical ways to safeguard your mental health and well-being. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Please don't skip any part of the video. You won't want to miss our special bonus section, where I'll share an effective strategy for setting firm boundaries with these individuals. Let's embark on this journey of self-awareness and resilience together. Number 1, charming and charismatic at first. When we talk about people who seem charming and charismatic at first, it's important to remember that appearances can be deceiving. These individuals often have a way of lighting up a room, making everyone around them feel special and valued. They know exactly what to say to make you feel like you've just made a new best friend. At first glance, they seem like the perfect person, witty, engaging, and seemingly interested in your life. It's easy to get swept up in their charm, thinking you've found someone truly special. However, the Stoics teach us to look beyond the surface and seek the truth through rational thought and observation. Over time, you might start to notice little cracks in their facade. Maybe they always need to be the center of attention, overshadowing others in social settings. They might talk over you, interrupt you, or even subtly put you down in front of others. These aren't just quirks or signs of an extroverted personality, they're red flags. The Stoics would advise us to observe these behaviors with a clear mind, unclouded by the initial excitement of their charisma. Imagine being at a party where this person is the life of the event, telling jokes and captivating the crowd. At first, it feels great to be in their orbit, but as the evening progresses, you realize they're dominating every conversation, making everything about themselves. When you try to share something about your life, they quickly redirect the topic back to them. This is where the principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, comes in handy. By staying emotionally balanced, you can see through their charming act and recognize the self-centered nature underneath. It's also crucial to pay attention to how they react when things don't go their way. A person who is genuinely kind and caring will handle disappointments and disagreements with grace and understanding. But someone who is merely playing a role to gain your trust might quickly become angry or defensive. They might lash out or try to manipulate the situation to regain control. According to Stoic wisdom, such reactions are clear indicators of a lack of virtuous character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be wary of those who display signs of anger and manipulation, as these are not the traits of a rational and virtuous person. The key here is to take your time and trust your instinct. The Stoics believed in the power of observation and the importance of not rushing to judgment based on first impressions. Epictetus taught that we should carefully evaluate the character of those we allow into our inner circle. So, if someone seems too good to be true, give yourself the space to observe their actions over time. Notice how they treat others, especially when they think no one is watching. True character is revealed in how a person behaves when they aren't trying to impress anyone. Remember, not everyone who seems charming and charismatic has good intentions. Some people use their charm as a tool for manipulation. By staying grounded and mindful, you can protect yourself from being taken in by a superficial facade. Stay true to the principles of wisdom and discernment, and you'll be better equipped to navigate these complex social interactions. Another crucial sign to watch out for: a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with those around us, to offer support when it's needed, and to create meaningful relationships. However, there are individuals out there who seem to completely lack this essential human trait. They don't care about how their actions or words affect others, and this can have a devastating impact on those around them. The Stoics believed in the importance of compassion and understanding as fundamental virtues. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the interconnectedness of humanity and the need to consider the well-being of others as part of our own well-being. So, when we encounter someone who shows a blatant disregard for the feelings of others, it's a serious red flag. Imagine you're sharing something deeply personal with a friend, hoping for some comfort or understanding. Instead of showing any genuine concern, they brush off your feelings or even mock your vulnerability. This lack of empathy can make you feel isolated and misunderstood. It's not just about them not being there for you in tough times. It's also about them failing to share in your joy or celebrate your successes. A person who lacks empathy won't cheer for your achievements. They might even undermine them or take credit themselves. This behavior is not just limited to personal relationships. Consider a boss who pushes their employees to the brink, showing no concern for their well-being. They might demand long hours without fair compensation, ignore requests for time off, or publicly criticize employees in a way that's meant to humiliate rather than constructively guide. This creates a toxic work environment where people feel undervalued and stressed. The Stoics would advise us to maintain our inner peace and integrity in such situations, recognizing that the lack of empathy in others is a reflection of their character, not ours. Furthermore, a lack of empathy can lead to more sinister behaviors. People who cannot empathize with others may engage in actions that are outright cruel or without any sense of guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or even inflict physical harm without a second thought about the pain they're causing. The Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized the importance of kindness and justice, teaching that our actions should always reflect our inner virtue. When someone lacks empathy, they're fundamentally disconnected from these values. Lack of empathy is also evident in smaller, everyday interactions. For example, you might notice that someone constantly interrupts conversations to talk about themselves, shows little interest in what others have to say, or fails to offer help when it's clearly needed. These might seem like minor annoyances at first, but they add up to a pattern of behavior that reveals a deeper issue. The Stoics would remind us to be observant and discerning, understanding that these small signs are indicative of a person's true character. If you find yourself dealing with someone who consistently lacks empathy, it's important to set boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional health. The Stoics believed in the importance of maintaining our own well-being and not allowing the negativity of others to disturb our peace. You have the right to distance yourself from those who drain your energy and bring you down. Another major sign of an evil person is manipulation. Manipulation occurs when someone uses deceit or cunning tactics to control or influence others to get what they want. It's a subtle, often insidious behavior that can be incredibly damaging to those on the receiving end. Manipulators are skilled at twisting situations, making you question your reality and bending your will to suit their needs. This can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and unsure of your own judgments. Let's think about manipulation from a Stoic perspective. The Stoics valued clarity of thought and the ability to see things as they truly are. They taught that our perceptions should be grounded in reality and that we should remain steadfast in our principles, no matter the external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they are attempting to cloud your perception and distort reality, making it difficult for you to stay true to these Stoic ideals. The common form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They might deny that certain events happened, or they might twist your words and actions to make you feel at fault. For example, let's say you confront a friend about something hurtful they said. Instead of acknowledging it, they might turn the tables, accusing you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. This can erode your confidence and make you reliant on the manipulator's version of reality. Manipulators are also adept at playing the victim. They might guilt-trip you into doing things you don't want to do by making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. You might have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything to help them, yet they are never there for you in return. They might say things like, "If you were really my friend, you'd do this for me," making you feel obligated to comply. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, emphasize the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control others' actions or emotions, only our response to them. Consider how a manipulator might use flattery or charm to get their way. At first, this can feel great. They might shower you with compliments and make you feel special. But over time, you might notice that their praise comes with strings attached. They might compliment you when they want something from you, or when they need you to do something for them. This can make you feel like you owe them, or that you need to live up to their expectations to maintain their approval. The Stoics would remind us that true virtue and self-worth come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Manipulation can also take the form of isolation. A manipulative person might try to cut you off from your friends and family, making you more dependent on them. They might say things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." This tactic makes it easier for them to control you because you become more reliant on them for support and validation. The Stoics believed in maintaining strong, supportive relationships with others, recognizing that we are social beings who thrive in community. Isolation goes against these principles, as it weakens our support network and makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. Financial manipulation is another tactic used by evil people. They might borrow money, never repay it, or they might control your finances to limit your independence. For instance, a partner might insist on managing all the money in the relationship, making you ask for permission to spend anything. This control over finances can make it difficult for you to leave the relationship or assert your independence. The Stoics would encourage us to seek self-sufficiency and independence, ensuring that we are not unduly influenced or controlled by others. Recognizing manipulation for what it is can be challenging, especially when you care about the person involved. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant and discerning, to see things clearly and to act with integrity. If you suspect someone is manipulating you, take a step back and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they trying to control aspects of your life or isolate you from others? It's important to set firm boundaries with manipulators and stand your ground. Communicate clearly and assertively about what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we respond. By maintaining our inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of manipulation and stay true to our values. One of the most glaring signs of an evil person: controlling behavior. This goes beyond mere preferences or quirks. It's about someone who seeks to dominate every aspect of your life, leaving little room for your own autonomy and decisions. Controlling individuals often disguise their behavior as concern or care, but underneath, it's about power and control. The Stoics, who valued personal freedom and self-control, would see this behavior as fundamentally opposed to living a virtuous life. Controlling behavior can manifest in many ways. For instance, you might have a friend who insists on always choosing where you go and what you do together. While it might seem harmless at first, over time you start to realize that your preferences and opinions are consistently ignored or overridden. They might say things like, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll have more fun if you just listen to me." This isn't about mutual decision-making. It's about one person exerting their will over another. In relationships, controlling behavior can become even more dangerous. A partner might monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and cannot see. They might go through your phone, check your messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of surveillance and micromanagement can make you feel trapped and anxious, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasize the importance of maintaining your own inner freedom and autonomy, regardless of external pressures. Control can also come in the form of financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might take charge of all financial decisions, doling out money as they see fit, and keeping you financially dependent on them. They might say, "I handle the money because you're not good with finances." Or, "It's easier if I just take care of everything." This can strip you of your financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The Stoics believed in self-sufficiency and managing your own resources wisely, viewing financial control as a form of enslavement that must be resisted. Another way controlling behavior shows up is through isolation. A controlling person might try to cut you off from friends and family, claiming that they're the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you might find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. The Stoics recognize the importance of community and supportive relationships, seeing isolation as detrimental to both personal growth and well-being. Controlling individuals also often use threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This creates an environment of fear and anxiety, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions that are best for you. The Stoics, especially Seneca, taught that we should face our fears and not allow others to intimidate us into submission. True courage and wisdom lie in standing firm against such threats and reclaiming our own power. It's important to understand that controlling behavior is about more than just wanting things done a certain way. It's about fundamentally undermining your ability to make your own choices and live your own life. The Stoics would advise us to recognize these behaviors for what they are: an attack on our autonomy and a violation of our personal freedom. By staying true to our values and maintaining our inner strength, we can resist the influence of controlling individuals and reclaim our right to live freely. If you find yourself dealing with someone who exhibits controlling behavior, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and assert your independence. Communicate clearly about your needs and limits, and don't be afraid to seek support from others who understand your situation. Remember, the Stoics teach us that we cannot control others, but we can control our own reactions and decisions. By staying grounded in our principles and valuing our own autonomy, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of controlling behavior and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Another unmistakable sign of an evil person is pathological lying. This goes beyond the occasional white lie that most people tell. Pathological liars deceive constantly, often without any apparent reason. They fabricate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to suit their own needs or to gain an advantage over others. This behavior can be incredibly damaging to relationships, eroding trust and creating a web of deceit that's difficult to untangle. The Stoics valued truth and integrity above all else. They believed that a virtuous life was grounded in honesty and that deceit was a fundamental betrayal of one's character. Marcus Aurelius emphasized living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our actions with truth and reason. When someone lies pathologically, they are living in direct opposition to these principles, creating a false reality that benefits only themselves. Pathological lying can take many forms. It might start with small, seemingly harmless lies, like embellishing a story to make themselves look better or more interesting. Over time, these lies can escalate, covering up mistakes or wrongdoings and manipulating others to achieve their goals. A pathological liar might claim to have accomplished things they haven't, falsely take credit for others' work, or make up stories about their past to gain sympathy or admiration. This constant dishonesty creates a distorted view of reality where you can never be sure what's true and what's fabricated. Consider how a pathological liar might operate in a workplace. They might lie about their qualifications, exaggerate their contributions to projects, or spread false rumors about colleagues to sabotage them. This can create a toxic environment where trust is undermined, and people are constantly on edge, unsure of who to believe. The Stoics would advise us to remain steadfast in our own integrity, not allowing ourselves to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and not be disturbed by the dishonesty of those around us. In personal relationships, pathological lying can be even more destructive. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who constantly lies about their whereabouts, their past, or their feelings. This behavior can make you feel insecure, anxious, and constantly questioning your own perceptions. You might find yourself doubting your memory or second-guessing your instincts, which is exactly what the liar wants. They thrive on creating confusion and instability, keeping you off balance so they can maintain control. The Stoics would remind us to trust our own judgment and not be swayed by the manipulations of others. Seneca taught that true peace comes from within, and that we should not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is that it's often difficult to detect at first. Pathological liars can be incredibly convincing, telling their lies with such confidence and detail that it's hard not to believe them. They might mix truth with lies, making it even more challenging to discern what's real. This is where the Stoic principle of vigilance comes into play. We must remain observant and critical, not taking things at face value, but instead seeking the truth through careful consideration and evidence. When you catch someone in a lie, pay attention to how they react. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they try to turn the tables and blame you? Or do they offer a plausible explanation that seems to make sense, even if it's just another layer of deceit? A genuine person will admit to their mistakes and strive to correct them, while a pathological liar will double down on their falsehoods, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The Stoics would counsel us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and not allowing it to provoke us. It's also important to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, it can erode the very foundation of trust that any relationship is built upon. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. You might find yourself constantly suspicious, always wondering if you're being lied to again. This can lead to a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The Stoics believed in the importance of building strong, honest relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. When dealing with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth trying to rebuild that trust, or whether it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and protect your own mental and emotional well-being. The Stoics would advise us to remain true to our own values and principles, not allowing ourselves to be dragged down by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. And don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship or situation that is built on lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. Now, how can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial skills you can develop when dealing with difficult or toxic people. Boundaries are about defining what you will and will not accept in your relationships, and they are essential for protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The Stoics, who emphasized the importance of personal integrity and inner peace, would see boundary setting as a fundamental practice for maintaining a virtuous and tranquil life. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that others respect you as well. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-respect and living in harmony with our true nature. By setting clear boundaries, you are not only protecting yourself, but also fostering healthier interactions with others. When it comes to setting boundaries, clarity is key. You need to be specific about what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this clearly and assertively. For example, if you have a friend who frequently belittles you or puts you down, you might say, "I appreciate our friendship, but I won't tolerate being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. If this continues, I will have to distance myself." This approach is direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation. According to Stoic principles, this kind of clear communication helps maintain order and respect in relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to state your boundaries once and expect others to adhere to them without reminders. You must consistently enforce your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized the importance of discipline and perseverance. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and teach others how to treat you. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they do not respect you or your limits, and it may be necessary to reassess the relationship. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event but an ongoing process. As relationships evolve, your boundaries may need to be adjusted. For instance, in a work environment, you might need to set boundaries around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You could say to a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to help with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibilities." The Stoics would advise us to balance our duties and not overextend ourselves to the detriment of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback or resistance you might encounter. People who are used to getting their way, especially those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not take kindly to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of such challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When you encounter resistance, stay firm and remind yourself that your boundaries are necessary for your well-being. In some cases, setting boundaries might mean making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from certain individuals or even ending relationships that are toxic or harmful. This can be a painful process, but it's essential for preserving your mental and emotional health. The Stoics would remind us that our primary responsibility is to our own virtue and well-being. Seneca often spoke about the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can significantly impact our character and happiness. By distancing yourself from those who consistently violate your boundaries, you are making a powerful statement about your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. It's also helpful to seek support from others when setting boundaries. This could mean talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about your experiences and getting their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes with boundary setting can provide you with valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The Stoics valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being. In addition, practicing self-care is crucial when setting and maintaining boundaries. This includes taking time for yourself, engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, and nurturing your physical and mental health. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-care as a foundation for a virtuous life. Epictetus, for example, emphasized the need to care for our own well-being so that we can be of service to others and fulfill our responsibilities effectively. By prioritizing self-care, you reinforce the message that your well-being is important and deserving of protection. Remember that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-love. It's about recognizing your own value and refusing to allow others to diminish it. The Stoics teach us that our worth is not determined by external factors, but by our own actions and integrity. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you are living in accordance with these principles and fostering a life of peace, virtue, and resilience. Imagine facing life's toughest challenges, loss, pain, uncertainty, and still finding a way to rise above it all, not just surviving, but thriving. This isn't just about ancient history or forgotten philosophies, it's about something that can change your life today. I'm talking about Stoicism, a philosophy that has the power to transform your struggles into strengths and your fears into courage. It's not a magic pill, but a way of living that can help you navigate the chaos of modern life with grace and wisdom. Think about it. In a world that's constantly trying to push you towards endless desires and immediate gratifications, what if I told you that the key to true happiness lies in embracing simplicity, practicing gratitude, and focusing on what's within your control? This is not just another self-help gimmick. It's a time-tested, battle-hardened philosophy that great leaders, thinkers, and even emperors have used to lead meaningful lives. Exhausted? So, if you've ever felt lost, overwhelmed, or just plain curious about how to live a good life, stick around. Let's dive deep into the heart of Stoicism and uncover the secrets to a fulfilling life. Secrets that Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus left for us to find. Trust me, this journey could be the turning point you've been searching for. The only thing I ask of you is not to skip this video in any way. If you're here, consider yourself different from the majority. Consider yourself an exception. Now, act like one and don't skip any part of the content. Number 1, take it step by step. In life, it's easy to get caught up in the cycle of planning, dreaming, and contemplating our next big move. We often find ourselves waiting for the perfect moment to start that project, to make that change, or to pursue that dream. However, Marcus Aurelius brings us back to a fundamental truth with profound simplicity. Knowing isn't enough. We must act. When times are tough, we must act. This isn't just about having intentions or making plans. It's about taking concrete steps towards realizing those plans. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. This idea of taking action, of moving step by step towards our goals, is at the heart of Stoicism. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, which includes embracing our nature as beings who can think, plan, and, most importantly, do. Marcus Aurelius himself was not just a philosopher, he was an emperor, a ruler who had to make decisions and take actions that would affect millions. His words come from a place of experience, reminding us that the path to fulfilling our potential is paved with actions, not just thoughts. But how do we overcome the inertia that holds us back? How do we move from dreaming to doing? The Stoic discipline of action offers a guide. Start small, but start today. This principle is echoed in the teachings of other great philosophers and psychologists. Aristotle famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." This speaks to the power of taking small, consistent steps towards our goals. It's not the grand gestures that define our character or our lives, but the small, daily actions we take. Plato, through his dialogues, taught us about the importance of aligning our actions with our values and ideals. He believed that true knowledge leads to right action. This aligns with the Stoic emphasis on living according to virtue and reason. By taking steps that are in harmony with our highest ideals, we move closer to the good life that Plato envisioned. Taking it step by step, as Marcus Aurelius advises, is about embracing the journey of growth and self-improvement with patience and persistence. It's about recognizing that every big journey does indeed begin with a single step. Whether it's improving our health, writing a book, or working towards a better world, the key is to start and then to keep going, one step at a time. Number 2, another path is always open. Have you ever hit a wall feeling like every direction you turn leads nowhere? It's a common experience, one that can leave us feeling frustrated, hopeless, and stuck. But what if I told you that this feeling, as universal as it is, can be transformed into something positive? This is where the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius shines a light on a powerful truth. When one door closes, another opens. Marcus Aurelius, along with other Stoic thinkers like Seneca and Epictetus, taught that life is full of obstacles. But these obstacles are not the end of the road. Instead, they are opportunities for growth, redirection, and the discovery of new paths. Stoicism, at its core, is about understanding that we might not have control over the events that happen to us, but we always have control over how we respond to those events. This Stoic principle is a game changer because it challenges us to shift our perspective from seeing obstacles as dead ends to viewing them as redirections. It's about embracing the idea that there's always another way, another path that we can take. This doesn't mean that the alternative path will be easy or straightforward. Sometimes it might require us to dig deep, to be creative, or to develop skills and strengths we didn't know we had. Let's consider the wisdom of other great minds in Western philosophy and psychology. Aristotle once said, "The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance." This idea resonates with the Stoic view of obstacles. It's not the external obstacle that defines our experience, but the significance we assign to it and the actions we take in response. Socrates, with his method of questioning, reminds us to interrogate our own beliefs about the obstacles we face. By questioning our assumptions, we can uncover new paths and solutions that were hidden by our initial reactions and emotions. This Stoic lesson, that another path is always open, is about more than just overcoming difficulties. It's about recognizing that life's challenges are an integral part of our journey. They shape us, test us, and ultimately lead us to our fullest potential. It's a reminder that we are always at choice, not in what happens to us, but in how we respond to what happens. Number 3, put people first. In a world that often measures success by what you have rather than what you give, Marcus Aurelius stands as a towering example of true leadership. Imagine being the most powerful man in the known world, where every luxury, every pleasure could easily be yours without a second thought. Yet, when faced with one of the most devastating crises of his time, a pandemic that threatened to wipe out a significant portion of his empire, Marcus chose a path that was radically different from what we might expect from someone of his stature. Instead of isolating himself in the comfort of his palace, surrounded by wealth and luxury, he took a step that was both bold and humbling. He began to sell off his own possessions, treasures that were not just valuable, but also symbols of imperial power and divine status. This wasn't a mere gesture. It was a lifeline thrown to a society struggling to survive, a society that looked up to him not just for leadership, but for compassion and hope. This act of selflessness is a vivid illustration of Stoicism in action. Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, was not just a theoretical guide for Marcus. It was a way of life. By prioritizing the welfare of his people over his own comfort, Marcus embodied the Stoic ideal that true wealth is not found in personal possessions, but in living a life of virtue and service to others. But Marcus Aurelius wasn't the only philosopher to espouse these values. Consider Aristotle, who believed that the essence of true happiness lies in living a life of virtuous activity in accordance with reason. He argued that real fulfillment comes from contributing to the community and living a life that transcends personal pleasure or material gain. Similarly, Plato emphasized the importance of the philosopher king, a ruler who, guided by wisdom and justice, puts the needs of the state and its citizens above his own desires. When we put people first, especially in times of crisis, we do more than just provide material support. We offer hope, solidarity, and a sense of shared humanity. This is the essence of leadership that Marcus Aurelius exemplifies, a leadership not rooted in authority or fear, but in empathy, sacrifice, and a profound commitment to the common good. Number 4, discard your anxiety. In the still moments of life, when the hustle and bustle fade into the background, we're often left with our thoughts, feelings, and for many of us, our anxieties. It's in these moments that Marcus Aurelius made a profound realization. Anxiety comes not from the world around us, but from within. This insight is not just a personal epiphany, but a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, teaching us that true peace comes from within, and that, to a large extent, anxiety is a choice. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what is within our control. The Stoics believe that while we might not have power over external events, we have control over our thoughts, perceptions, and reactions. This perspective empowers us to discard unnecessary worries and to cultivate a state of inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. But how can we practically apply this teaching in our lives? How do we discard anxiety and find true freedom? First, it's important to recognize that anxiety often stems from our desire to control the uncontrollable, from worrying about the future to stressing over how others perceive us. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that these concerns lie outside our sphere of control, and therefore should not occupy our minds or disturb our peace. Plato emphasized the importance of knowing oneself, suggesting that true knowledge leads to self-mastery. By understanding our thoughts and emotions, we can identify the root causes of our anxiety and address them with reason and clarity. Socrates championed the examined life, arguing that unreflective living is not worth living. By examining our anxieties, we can challenge their validity and transform our relationship with them. The process of discarding anxiety, as the Stoics teach, involves a shift in perspective. It requires us to let go of our attachment to things beyond our control and to focus instead on our responses. This doesn't mean ignoring our emotions or denying our feelings, but rather observing them with detachment and choosing not to let them dictate our peace. Number 5. Well begun is half done. Starting the day on the right foot can set the tone for everything that follows. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. Despite his immense responsibilities and the power he wielded, Marcus committed himself to routines that grounded him and prepared him for the day ahead. He didn't wake up early out of necessity, but out of a desire to start his day with purpose. He used journaling not just as a means of reflection, but as a tool to align his actions and thoughts with his values. This disciplined approach to mornings wasn't about rigid schedules. It was about ensuring that each day began with intentionality. The principle of well begun is half done is a testament to the importance of starting our tasks, our projects, and indeed our days in a manner that sets us up for success. It's a principle that transcends time, finding echoes in the wisdom of many other philosophers and psychologists throughout history. Aristotle once highlighted the significance of habits in shaping our character and our lives. He believed that excellence was not an act, but a habit. By beginning our day with routines that reflect our commitment to excellence, we cultivate the habits that lead to a virtuous and fulfilling life. It's not the grand gestures that define us, but the small, consistent actions we take every day. Plato taught us about the world of forms, where the ideal version of everything exists. While we might not reach that ideal, the act of striving towards it is what brings out the best in us. Starting our day with a clear intention is akin to orienting ourselves towards our own ideal form. Striving each day to be the best version of ourselves, by embracing the day with intention, we take control of our lives. We set a positive tone that influences everything we do. We remind ourselves of what's truly important and ensure that our actions throughout the day reflect our highest priorities and values. Number 6. Don't resent people. In the intricate tapestry of human relationships, encountering difficult people is inevitable. It's a universal challenge that can test our patience, disrupt our peace, and sometimes provoke resentment. However, Marcus Aurelius offers a transformative perspective on this challenge. He didn't see difficult people as mere obstacles, but as opportunities to cultivate and practice Stoic virtues such as patience, kindness, and understanding. This approach isn't just about managing external relationships. It's about an internal journey towards personal growth and self-mastery. Stoicism teaches us that our reactions to external events, including our interactions with others, are within our control. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that the actions of others should not disturb our inner peace or dictate our emotional state. Instead, encountering difficult people should be viewed as a chance to strengthen our character, practice the virtues that Stoicism holds dear, and rise above petty grievances or annoyances. This doesn't mean condoning negative behavior or allowing ourselves to be mistreated. It means choosing a response that aligns with our values and our commitment to personal excellence. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow self, suggesting that the traits we dislike in others often reflect parts of ourselves that we haven't fully accepted. By recognizing this projection, we can turn encounters with difficult people into moments of self-reflection and growth, learning to embrace the full spectrum of our humanity. Marcus Aurelius's approach to not resenting people but rather seeing them as opportunities to practice Stoic virtues invites us to elevate our interactions and our responses to challenging situations. It encourages us to rise above the immediate impulse of resentment, to cultivate a deeper sense of patience, kindness, and understanding. This path not only leads to more harmonious relationships but also to a richer, more virtuous life. Number 7. Be strict with yourself. Navigating the journey of self-improvement and personal growth requires a delicate balance between compassion for others and discipline for oneself. This balance is beautifully encapsulated in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who emphasized the importance of being lenient with others while being strict with oneself. This Stoic principle underscores the essence of self-discipline, urging us to take responsibility for our actions, thoughts, and growth, without projecting our expectations onto others. The path to self-discipline is undeniably a solo journey. It's a personal commitment to uphold higher standards for ourselves, to relentlessly pursue self-control, and to continuously strive for self-improvement. This isn't about setting unrealistic expectations or being harsh and unforgiving towards ourselves. Rather, it's about recognizing our potential for growth and making a conscious effort to move closer to our ideal selves every day. Marcus Aurelius practiced what he preached. His reflections, documented in his meditations, reveal a man deeply committed to self-examination, virtue, and the pursuit of wisdom. He understood that true progress comes from within, and that we have the power to cultivate peace, virtue, and resilience through disciplined thought and action. This Stoic ethos of self-discipline is echoed in the teachings of other great philosophers and psychologists. Aristotle spoke of virtue as a mean between two extremes, achieved through habituation. He believed that by consistently choosing the virtuous path, we could develop a character marked by excellence. Applying this to self-discipline, it's about finding the balance between excess and deficiency, pushing ourselves to grow while also being mindful of our limits. Being strict with oneself, as advocated by Marcus Aurelius, is not about punishment or deprivation. It's about holding ourselves to a higher standard, recognizing our capacity for improvement, and taking the necessary steps to actualize our potential. It's about making choices that align with our deepest values, even when they require sacrifice or effort. At the same time, Marcus's advice to be lenient with others reminds us of the importance of empathy, understanding, and compassion. It acknowledges that everyone is on their own journey, facing their own challenges and learning their own lessons. By focusing on our growth without imposing our standards on others, we cultivate not only self-discipline, but also kindness and respect for the diverse paths that people take. Number 8. Ask yourself, is this essential? In our fast-paced modern world, bombarded by endless tasks, notifications, and demands on our attention, the question posed by Marcus Aurelius, is this essential, becomes not just relevant but vital. This question invites us to pause, reflect, and discern the essential from the non-essential, guiding us toward a life of purpose and meaning. Marcus championed the idea of focusing on what truly matters, advocating for a life not led by the chaos of external demands, but by the clarity of internal values. This Stoic principle of prioritization and concentration on the essential is a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of contemporary life. The wisdom of focusing on the essential is echoed across the ages by other great minds in Western philosophy and psychology. Aristotle spoke of the golden mean, the desirable middle between two extremes, one of excess and the other of deficiency. Applying this concept to our daily choices and commitments, we find balance by pursuing activities that are essential for our fulfillment and well-being, avoiding the extremes of overcommitment and apathy. Plato emphasized the pursuit of the good, the true, and the beautiful, ideals that should guide our actions and choices. By asking if something is essential, we align our lives with these higher ideals, ensuring that our actions contribute to our ultimate goals of wisdom, virtue, and beauty. Carl Jung, delving into the depths of the human psyche, highlighted the process of individuation, becoming who we truly are. By concentrating on what is essential, we peel away the layers of societal expectations and superficial desires, getting closer to our authentic selves and the unique path each of us is meant to walk. Amor fati, the love of one's fate, is a call to embrace everything that life throws our way, the good and the bad, with acceptance and enthusiasm. Instead of resisting or lamenting the challenges we face, we learn to see them as opportunities for growth. Number 9. Remember these mantras. Amor fati teaches us to love them, to see them as necessary parts of our journey. Marcus Aurelius, who faced numerous adversities during his reign, embodied this principle by accepting and making the best of his circumstances, no matter how dire. This Stoic mantra echoes the wisdom of other philosophers like Aristotle, who taught that virtue and happiness are found in the acceptance and excellent pursuit of one's life's conditions, not in the conditions themselves. The Stoics believe that, as social beings, our well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of our community. Focusing on contributing to the common good is about recognizing our interconnectedness and our responsibility to each other. It's a call to live ethically, to contribute positively to society, and to consider the impact of our actions on others. Plato's vision of an ideal society where each individual plays their part for the greater good reflects this Stoic value. It reminds us that true fulfillment comes not from self-centered pursuits, but from our contributions to the lives of others. Perhaps one of the most powerful Stoic reminders is memento mori, the practice of reflecting on our mortality. Far from being morbid, this mantra is a powerful motivator to live our lives fully, to prioritize what truly matters, and to let go of trivial concerns. Marcus Aurelius, and indeed all Stoics, saw the awareness of death as a tool to cherish life and to make the most of the present moment. This perspective is shared by Socrates, who saw an unexamined life as not worth living, implying that a life lived without awareness of its finitude misses its depth and meaning. Integrating these Stoic mantras into our lives invites us to live with greater purpose, resilience, and joy. Amor Fati encourages us to accept and find value in everything that happens to us, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. The focus on contributing to the common good extends our pursuit of happiness beyond our personal needs, enriching our lives through the well-being of others. Memento mori serves as a poignant reminder to focus on the essential, to love deeply, act kindly, and live meaningfully, aware that our time is finite. Remember, the journey through life is rich with challenges and beauty, and it's how we navigate this journey that defines our existence. Let's not just exist, but truly live, embracing the wisdom of the past to create a present filled with meaning and a future brimming with possibility. We've all been there. Life feels like it's spinning out of control. A job loss, a tough breakup, or just the daily rush can leave us feeling stressed and helpless. But what if I told you there's a way not just to get through these tough times, but to actually thrive in the chaos? Today, we're going to explore the wisdom of Seneca, an ancient philosopher who knew how to stay calm and focused, no matter what life threw his way. His Stoic teachings aren't just old ideas, they're practical tips that have helped countless people stay strong, and they can help you too. By the end of this video, you'll have some powerful Stoic strategies to build mental toughness and take control of your emotions, no matter what happens. And stick with me, and let's learn how these timeless lessons can make your life calmer and more centered. Number 1. Focus on one activity at a time. Seneca's wisdom, to be everywhere is to be nowhere, captures a crucial principle that is often overlooked in our modern rush to do more and be more. The idea of focusing on one activity at a time is central to Stoic philosophy and can transform how we approach our daily tasks. In a world that celebrates the myth of multitasking, we need to pause and reconsider the effectiveness of this approach. When we try to multitask, we're spreading our attention thin, which can lead to increased mistakes and decreased quality of work. Marcus Aurelius, another revered Stoic philosopher, echoed this sentiment when he advised, "Concentrate every minute, like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions." This focus is not just about improving productivity, it's about cultivating a quality of mind that values depth over breadth. Focusing on one activity at a time allows us to immerse ourselves fully in the task at hand. Whether it's a professional assignment, a personal project, or a meaningful conversation. This kind of deep work fosters a greater sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Plato might argue that this singular focus helps us access a higher form of beauty and truth in our work, as it allows us to give our best effort and to create something that resonates with the ideals of goodness and excellence. Moreover, the psychological benefits of focusing on one task at a time are significant. It reduces the cognitive load on our brains, minimizing stress and enhancing our decision-making capabilities. Aristotle, who valued the development of virtues through habitual right action, would likely support this practice as a way to develop the virtue of temperance or self-control, helping us regulate our desire for distraction and immediate gratification. In practicing this focused approach, we not only follow in the footsteps of Stoic philosophers, but also align with the teachings of modern psychology, which suggests that our brains are not wired to handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously. The quality of our work and our life improves when we give our full attention to one thing at a time. Socrates' method of deep inquiry and dialogue, focusing intensely on one subject to the exclusion of all else, exemplifies how powerful this method can be. Embracing this Stoic principle doesn't just make us more productive, it makes us more thoughtful, peaceful, and balanced individuals. It is a rejection of the chaos of modern multitasking and an embrace of a more deliberate and purposeful mode of being. As we practice this, we might find that not only do our results improve, but so does our overall well-being. Number 2. Practice philosophy to control your impulses. Seneca's insight, "All the greatest torments are the result of an undisciplined mind," reveals a profound truth about human nature. Our unchecked impulses can be the source of immense emotional turmoil and suffering. Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of self-control and rational thinking, provides us with a framework to address this challenge. Rather than suppressing our emotions, which is neither healthy nor sustainable, Stoicism teaches us to understand and manage them. The process of managing our impulses begins with self-awareness. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, famously said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This statement highlights the necessity of self-mastery in achieving true freedom and happiness. By becoming more aware of our impulses and the triggers that set them off, we are better equipped to handle them rationally. This doesn't mean denying our feelings, but understanding them deeply enough that we can respond in ways that align with our long-term goals and values. In the realm of philosophy, Aristotle also spoke about the importance of moderating our impulses through the development of virtues. He believed that virtue lies in finding the balance between excess and deficiency, a concept known as the golden mean. For instance, courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice, deficiency being the mean between recklessness and cowardice. Applying this to impulse control, we seek to find a balance between spontaneous reactions and complete inaction, aiming for thoughtful, deliberate responses that reflect our best selves. Moreover, practicing philosophy as a guide to controlling our impulses involves cultivating rational thought as a habit. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reflected on the importance of aligning thoughts with rational and virtuous principles. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This perspective encourages us to focus on our internal responses rather than external provocations, thereby gaining greater control over our impulses. By critically examining our impulses with the aid of philosophical wisdom, we can begin to make choices that are not dictated by fleeting emotions, but are the result of careful thought and reflection. This practice not only strengthens our mental fortitude, but also helps us live more harmoniously with our values. It leads to a life where decisions are made, not in the heat of the moment, but with a clear, composed mind. The Stoic approach to impulse control is about cultivating an inner dialogue that constantly questions and assesses our instinctive reactions. It is about making philosophy not just a subject we study, but a way we live our lives, allowing us to rise above immediate gratifications and achieve a deeper sense of satisfaction and purpose. This disciplined approach to managing impulses is not just about avoiding emotional pain. It's about forging a path to a more thoughtful, fulfilling life. Number 3, stay prepared. Seneca, who emphasized the importance of being prepared, famously said, Rehearse them in your mind. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck, all the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes. This advice might sound a bit dramatic at first. After all, not all of us are navigating the high seas or entering battle. But what Seneca is getting at here is the concept of mental preparation for life's inevitable challenges. A cornerstone of Stoic resilience, Stoicism teaches us to anticipate and mentally rehearse for the worst, not to fill us with dread, but to diminish the shock and pain when difficulties do occur. This practice is known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It's about visualizing the most challenging scenarios, not to worry obsessively, but to be emotionally and mentally equipped when life throws its curveballs. Think about it this way. Athletes practice under tough conditions to prepare for the strain of actual competition. Similarly, by mentally rehearsing challenging situations, we train our minds to handle stress and adversity with less panic and more poise. This Stoic practice helps us appreciate our current state. When we realize how much worse things could be, our everyday problems seem less overwhelming. Applying this Stoicism doesn't mean living in constant anxiety about what could go wrong. Rather, it's about having a realistic acknowledgement of potential negative outcomes. For example, if you're worried about job security, instead of spiraling into fear, you could start preparing by updating your resume, enhancing your skills, or even exploring alternate career paths. This way, if the worst were to happen, you're not caught off guard and are better positioned to handle the situation. Moreover, this principle extends beyond personal crises. It's about maintaining a level of readiness for any significant changes in our lives, from financial instability to personal loss. By staying prepared, we not only shield ourselves from the initial shock, but also quicken our recovery and adjustment periods. We become less reactive and more responsive, a subtle but powerful shift in handling life's uncertainties. Seneca's counsel helps us forge a mindset where we are not overwhelmed by adversity, but are fortified against it. This mental readiness is not about expecting the worst, but about being prepared to deal with any situation, thereby enhancing our resilience and overall mental toughness. Through this Stoic lens, we see not just the potential for loss or hardship, but also the opportunity for growth and renewal in every challenge. Number 4. Voluntarily embrace hardships. Another profound insight from Seneca. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. This idea is at the heart of Stoicism and speaks to a practice that can seem counterintuitive at first, voluntarily embracing hardships. It's about deliberately choosing to experience discomfort, not as a form of punishment, but as a way to fortify our mental resilience and expand our capacity to handle life's inevitable challenges. Think about what it means to voluntarily embrace hardships. It's like an athlete who trains under harsh conditions to prepare for a competition. The athlete understands that by pushing the limits in a controlled environment, they're better prepared for the stresses of the actual event. Similarly, by choosing to face difficulties head-on, whether that's taking on a challenging project at work, speaking up in public, or even opting to live more simply, we enhance our mental toughness and adaptability. Seneca's approach teaches us that when we step out of our comfort zones on purpose, we're not just testing our limits, we're expanding them. For example, if you dread public speaking, regularly putting yourself in situations where you must speak in front of others can transform your fear into a skill. Over time, what once felt insurmountable becomes manageable and eventually comfortable. Meditation is a way to get to the root of things, rather than to hide behaviors we find frightening. This Stoic practice is not about seeking out suffering for its own sake, but about recognizing that growth often comes from discomfort. Embracing voluntary hardships also means resetting our comfort thresholds. In a world that often prioritizes comfort and ease, choosing the harder path can seem radical. But Stoicism invites us to rethink what true comfort is. Is it merely the absence of discomfort, or is it the presence of inner strength and peace that comes from knowing we can handle whatever comes our way? By integrating this Stoic principle into our lives, we also learn to appreciate our current circumstances more. When we know we can endure less, we can enjoy the simple pleasures of life with greater contentment. It's about building a life not on the avoidance of hardship, but on the foundation of resilience. This doesn't mean we seek out suffering, but when hardship does come, we view it as an opportunity to practice our Stoic skills. In embracing voluntary hardships, we also foster a deep sense of self-efficacy. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of overcoming obstacles, which in turn builds self-confidence. Each challenge we face and overcome is a reminder that we are stronger than we might have believed. So let's take a page from Seneca's book and challenge ourselves to step into the arena of voluntary hardship. It's there that we'll find not just challenges, but the keys to a more resilient and fulfilling life. Number 5. Avoid self-victimization. Seneca wisely pointed out, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This statement is a stark reminder that our interpretation of events, not the events themselves, often causes our greatest suffering. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we are victims of our circumstances, which can lead to a mindset that everything happens to us rather than for us or with us. Stoicism teaches us the importance of perception. How we choose to see and interpret life's challenges significantly impacts our experience of them. If we view ourselves as passive victims, we surrender our agency and power. However, if we view challenges as opportunities to grow and learn, we maintain control over our responses and are more likely to approach life proactively. Consider a common scenario. Perhaps you didn't get a promotion at work, and your initial reaction is to feel sidelined or discriminated against. While these feelings are valid, Stoicism invites us to examine our reactions critically. Are we perhaps viewing the situation only through a lens of loss and unfairness? What if, instead, we saw this as an opportunity to seek feedback, improve our skills, or even reassess our career path to find a better fit for our aspirations? Avoiding self-victimization doesn't mean ignoring the injustices or difficulties we face. Rather, it means shifting our focus from what happens to us to how we respond to what happens. This shift is powerful. It moves us from a place of passive reaction to active participation in our lives. We stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this situation? Example 4. Stoicism equips us with the tools to detach from our initial emotional responses and see the bigger picture. It's about understanding that while we can't always control external events, we can control our perceptions and reactions. This mental shift is freeing and empowering. It allows us to live with a sense of purpose and resilience, making us better equipped to handle future challenges. Moreover, practicing this Stoic principle enriches our interactions with others. By refusing to cast ourselves as the perpetual victims, we foster healthier relationships characterized by mutual respect and understanding rather than blame and resentment. We become more compassionate as we recognize that just as we are responsible for our happiness, so are others for theirs. In embracing the Stoic way, we liberate ourselves from the chains of self-victimization. We take charge of our narrative, acknowledging that we are the architects of our reality. This empowerment is the essence of Stoicism and the key to a fulfilling and proactive life. So, let's choose to rise above victimhood, not by denying our pain, but by reframing our stories with strength, wisdom, and resilience. Number 6. Spend time in solitude. Seneca's advice to retire into yourself as much as possible emphasizes the value of solitude in Stoic philosophy. This guidance is not an encouragement towards isolation, but rather an invitation to engage in deep self-reflection and introspection. In our fast-paced, interconnected world, the noise of everyday life can drown out our inner voice and hinder our ability to reflect on our personal growth and values. Stoicism teaches us that true solitude is a state of rich self-awareness and not merely a physical state of being alone. The benefits of spending time in solitude are profound and have been echoed by philosophers throughout history. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, often wrote about the importance of introspection in his personal writings. He believed that understanding oneself is essential to living a life of virtue and purpose. He stated, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This highlights the idea that solitude provides a sanctuary where one can escape the demands of the external world and focus on internal development. Furthermore, the practice of solitude allows us to explore our thoughts and emotions without distraction. It gives us the space to process our experiences and to align our actions with our principles. By regularly engaging in this practice, we cultivate a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly want from life. This alignment is crucial for living authentically and achieving personal fulfillment. Aristotle also touched on the importance of self-reflection for achieving eudaimonia, or flourishing. He believed that self-knowledge was essential for developing virtues and living in accordance with reason. In solitude, we can assess our lives critically and make adjustments that reflect our true values and aspirations. The Stoic practice of solitude also encourages us to develop resilience. Epictetus emphasized the need for personal reflection to fortify the mind against adversity. He advised individuals to use solitude as a tool to strengthen their character and mental endurance, preparing them for the inevitable challenges of life. He posited, "It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire. Perfect tranquility within consists in the good ordering of the mind, the realm of your own." Moreover, spending time alone helps us appreciate our relationships and social interactions more fully. When we return from periods of solitude, we often find that we have more to offer others, whether it's greater empathy, patience, or clarity. This not only enriches our personal relationships, but also enhances our contributions to our communities. The Stoic practice of seeking solitude is not about escaping life, but about deepening our engagement with it. By retiring into ourselves, we gain the clarity needed to act more thoughtfully in the world. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus all provide us with a roadmap for using solitude, not as a retreat from life, but as a tool to live more fully and meaningfully. By applying these Stoic practices, we're not just surviving, we're thriving, cultivating a life of peace and fulfillment from within. In the spirit of Stoicism, let's continue to explore how we can apply these ancient wisdoms to navigate the complexities of modern life. Let's strive to be better than we were yesterday, to live with intention and virtue. Every single day, we're faced with moments that test our patience and rattle our calm. Whether it's a traffic jam when you're already late, a coworker's irritating habits, or your phone battery dying in the middle of an important call, life seems full of these little battles. It's not just about these minor irritations, though. It's about how we respond to them that shapes our days and, ultimately, our lives. It's important to remember that everyone feels angry sometimes. It's part of being human. But here's where Stoicism steps in with its profound wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is pivotal in transforming our relationship with anger. Think about it. When something goes wrong or someone frustrates us, our first instinct might be to react with anger. But what if, instead, we paused and considered this reaction? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. By acknowledging anger as a natural emotion, we set the stage for learning how to handle it more effectively. The Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius often discuss the concept of not being swayed by external events, but instead focusing on our internal responses. They believe that our emotions, including anger, come from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. So, when we feel angry, it's often because we're placing a particular value or judgment on what's happened. This understanding opens up a powerful opportunity for us. Each time we feel anger rising, we can ask ourselves, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is there another way to view it? This is not about suppressing or denying your anger. It's about understanding it. By getting to the root of what triggers our anger, we can start to change our responses. For instance, if you get cut off in traffic and feel the anger bubbling up, recognize this as a chance to examine why you react this way. Is it really the action of the other driver, or is it your belief that your route should be obstacle-free? Moreover, acknowledging anger helps us empathize with others who might also struggle with their emotions. This empathy can deepen our connections and improve our interactions. It's about compassion, both for ourselves and for others, as we navigate the complexities of human emotions. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is incredibly liberating once you truly grasp it. Think about it. So much of our frustration and anger stems from situations or people we simply can't change, no matter how much we might want to. The Stoics, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, taught that the real power lies in recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we can't. You control your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. That's it. Everything else is more or less out of your hands. Other people's actions, the weather, the past, and much of the future. But here's where it gets interesting. By focusing on our own reactions and attitudes, we reclaim a tremendous amount of power. Instead of wasting energy on the uncontrollable, we invest it in what we can actually influence. Let's make it practical. Say you're working on a group project and someone isn't pulling their weight. It's easy to get frustrated, right? You might even feel your temper rising, but ask yourself, what part of this situation can I actually control? You can't make your teammate work harder, but you can control how you respond to the challenge. Maybe it's a conversation about expectations, or perhaps it's reallocating work within the group. By shifting your focus like this, you not only reduce your own stress, but also open up more constructive ways to address the problem. Another aspect of this Stoic principle is accepting that some things are just beyond our control. This acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding where our power truly lies. It's about not letting external events dictate your peace of mind. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic and getting irritated because you're going to be late, pause and think, can I control the traffic? No. But what can you control? Your reaction. Maybe you turn on an audiobook or some calming music, or use the time to think through your day. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it gradually builds a stronger, more resilient mindset. Over time, you'll find yourself less shaken by life's ups and downs because you know where your responsibilities lie and where they don't. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about channeling your energies more productively. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. This aligns beautifully with Stoic teachings, which emphasize awareness of our thoughts and actions, and maintaining control over our reactions to external circumstances. So why practice mindfulness? Because it helps us to pause between our experiences and our reactions to them. By becoming more mindful, we can choose responses that align with our values and goals instead of getting swept away by emotions. For example, when someone says something that upsets you, instead of immediately reacting or snapping back, mindfulness allows you to take a step back. You notice your emotional surge, but choose to observe it passively, without acting on it immediately. This space that mindfulness creates is not just calming, it's empowering. It gives you the chance to choose a response that you won't regret later. Let's talk about how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life, because it sounds great in theory, but it's in the practice that the real magic happens. One simple technique is to focus on your breathing. When you find yourself feeling anxious or angry, take a moment to concentrate on deep, slow breaths. This focus pulls your mind away from the triggers of stress or anger and brings you back to what you can control: your breath. Another practical method is what I like to call mindful observation. Choose an ordinary task or moment, like drinking a cup of coffee. Focus all your senses on this experience. Notice the aroma, the heat of the cup in your hands, the taste. This practice of engaging fully with the present moment can transform an ordinary experience into a richer, more textured moment. What's fascinating about this is that it trains your brain to apply the same level of awareness to more challenging situations. When anger or frustration arises, you'll be better equipped to handle it with the same focus and calm. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of our experiences. Nothing lasts forever, not even our emotions. Mindfulness complements this by helping us to experience our feelings without judgment. Acknowledge that you're angry, recognize it, but also remind yourself that this anger is just a passing state. It's not who you are, and it doesn't control you, unless you let it. The idea that everything changes and nothing lasts forever is a universal truth that can help us navigate life's ups and downs with more grace and less frustration. It's about understanding that our circumstances, emotions, and even our thoughts are constantly in flux, and learning to embrace this constant state of change rather than resisting it. Think about how often we get upset because things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job promotion that didn't come through, a relationship that ended unexpectedly, or a sudden change in our health. Our first reaction might be to resist these changes, to get angry or sad. But Stoicism invites us to look at these situations differently, through the lens of impermanence. When we truly grasp that nothing is permanent, we start to realize that our anger or disappointment is also temporary. This doesn't diminish the importance of our feelings, but gives us a more balanced perspective on them. Embracing impermanence allows us to live more in the present and worry less about the past and the future. If you know that everything is temporary, you begin to appreciate your experiences and the people around you more deeply. You don't take things for granted because you're aware that circumstances can change at any moment. This awareness can be incredibly freeing. It reduces the sting of negative events and enhances the joy of positive ones. Now, how do we practice accepting impermanence in daily life? Start by reflecting on the transient nature of your surroundings and experiences. For example, watch how the seasons change. Observe how your feelings shift throughout the day, or how your relationships evolve over time. These observations can be reminders that change is the only constant. Another way to integrate this into your life is by adjusting how you respond to disruptions or unexpected changes. Instead of reacting with frustration when something doesn't go your way, take a moment to acknowledge that this change is part of a bigger flow of life. It's an opportunity to adapt and grow. Think about a time when something didn't work out as you had hoped, and then something better came along. Often, it's only in hindsight that we see how these changes were beneficial. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept impermanence, it encourages us to find strength in it. Each change and ending is a chance to practice resilience and flexibility. By fostering this mindset, we not only cope with life's challenges more effectively, but also learn to move through them with a sense of peace and anticipation for what's next. The Stoics believe that becoming aware of the root causes of our emotions could lead to greater self-mastery. When we understand our emotions, we are better equipped to respond to life's challenges in ways that are aligned with our values and goals, rather than simply reacting out of habit or impulse. Every emotion we experience, whether it's anger, joy, sadness, or fear, is triggered by our perception. For example, if you feel angry when someone interrupts you while speaking, it's worth exploring why. Is it because you feel disrespected? Or perhaps it reflects a deeper insecurity about your voice being heard. By digging into these questions, you can begin to understand not just your reactions, but also the beliefs and values that underlie them. This understanding is crucial because it gives you the opportunity to change your perceptions and consequently the way you feel. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are predicated on our judgments. The good news is that judgments can be examined and changed. So, when you feel a strong emotion, try to step back and ask yourself, what am I believing right now? Is this belief true? Is it helpful? This kind of questioning can be very powerful. It allows you to shift your perspective and choose a different emotional response, one that serves you better. For instance, if you're feeling anxious about a work presentation, it might be because you believe that you must perform perfectly in order to be respected. But is this really true? Likely, your colleagues value your effort and sincerity more than perfection. Recognizing this can alleviate some of your anxiety and help you approach the situation with more calmness and confidence. Practically speaking, journaling can be an incredibly effective tool for understanding your emotions. By writing down what you feel and exploring why you feel it, you can uncover patterns and triggers that you might not be aware of otherwise. This reflection not only helps in the moment, but also builds a sort of emotional intelligence over time that can make you more resilient and adaptable. Another approach is to discuss your feelings with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a mentor. Speaking about your emotions can provide new insights and perspectives that you might not have considered. It's often through dialogue that we come to new understandings about ourselves and our relationships. Embracing the Stoic approach to emotions isn't about suppressing what you feel. On the contrary, it's about engaging with your emotions in a proactive and reflective way. It's about taking control of the narrative of your inner life. By understanding your emotions, you're not just reacting to the world, you're actively shaping your experience of it. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience, not just as a way to endure, but as a method to transform our experiences. Patience, according to Stoic philosophy, isn't just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we wait. It's about maintaining our composure and dignity in the face of life's delays and challenges, understanding that these are often outside our control. In our daily lives, we encounter countless situations that can trigger impatience. From a slow-moving line at the grocery store to a traffic jam or a delayed response from a colleague. Our first instinct might be to feel irritated or stressed, but here's where Stoicism comes into play. It encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtue. Every instance of delay is a chance to exercise patience, to reinforce our ability to stay calm and collected. So, how can we develop patience in practical terms? One effective approach is to adjust our expectations. Often, our impatience stems from a mismatch between our expectations and reality. If we start by acknowledging that delays and obstacles are natural parts of life, we're less likely to get upset when they occur. This doesn't mean lowering our standards, but rather aligning our expectations with the fact that the world won't always operate according to our preferences. Another key method is to use the moments of waiting as opportunities for growth and reflection. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of fuming over the delay, you can turn it into valuable time, listening to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply reflect on your day. This shift in perspective turns a frustrating situation into a productive or relaxing one. Practicing mindfulness is also a powerful ally in developing patience. By being present in the moment and fully engaging with it, we can distance ourselves from the feelings of urgency and restlessness that often accompany waiting. Mindfulness helps us cultivate a peaceful state of mind that buffers us against the stirrings of impatience. Stoicism not only advocates for patience, but also for understanding the impermanence of our current state. Remembering that this too shall pass can help us endure unpleasant situations, whether it's waiting for a delayed flight or enduring a long recovery from an illness. The knowledge that it is temporary makes it more bearable. Finally, celebrating small victories is crucial in developing patience. When you manage to stay calm during a situation that would normally make you impatient, acknowledge and reward yourself for this achievement. This reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely to become a habit. This is one of those transformative experiences that not only changes the way we relate to others, but also profoundly affects our inner peace. Forgiveness in the Stoic sense is not about condoning wrongdoings or forgetting the harm done. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden that comes from carrying grudges. Forgiveness requires a strong sense of self-awareness and control over one's emotions, qualities that Stoics strive to develop. It involves recognizing that our anger and hurt, while natural and valid responses to perceived injustices, are ultimately within our control. This doesn't mean that the process is simple or immediate. Forgiveness can be challenging. It often requires a deliberate, concerted effort to let go of deep-seated feelings of injustice. Consider the power that comes from deciding not to allow someone else's actions to disturb your inner tranquility. This is the essence of Stoic forgiveness. It's about making a conscious choice to not let past actions continually affect your present state of mind. This decision helps you reclaim your emotional energy and focus it on more constructive pursuits that align with your values and goals. Now, how do we start practicing forgiveness in everyday life? It begins with the recognition that all humans are fallible, ourselves included. We all make mistakes, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of malice. Reflecting on our own shortcomings can help us develop empathy towards others, making it easier to forgive. Another Stoic practice is to consider the bigger picture. Often, the things we hold on to are not as significant in the grand scheme of our lives. By focusing on our long-term well-being, which is bolstered by peace and harmony, the immediate sting of grievances can be mitigated. Practicing forgiveness also involves actively reframing our narratives. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim, which can perpetuate feelings of anger and helplessness, try to see yourself as a survivor, or even a hero of your story, one who has overcome challenges and emerged stronger. This shift in perspective not only facilitates forgiveness, but also empowers you in your life's journey. Moreover, engaging in meditation or mindfulness exercises can assist in the process. These practices help calm the mind and provide the space needed to process emotions more rationally and less reactively. As you sit quietly and focus on your breath, allow thoughts of forgiveness to enter your mind. Picture those you feel have wronged you and imagine sending them thoughts of goodwill. This doesn't mean you accept the wrong, but you are choosing to release its hold over you. Finally, it's important to understand that forgiveness is a process, sometimes a lengthy one. It doesn't happen all at once, and that's perfectly okay. Each step towards forgiveness, no matter how small, is a step towards a freer, more emotionally balanced life. At its essence, self-gratrobe allows us to pause before reacting, giving us the time to consider whether our impulses align with our long-term goals. For instance, if you're trying to lead a healthier lifestyle, self-gratrobe is what helps you choose not to eat that late-night junk food. In emotional situations, self-gratrobe helps you hold back a harsh word or an angry reply, preserving relationships and maintaining peace of mind. How can we strengthen this essential skill? One effective Stoic practice is to regularly reflect on our actions and their consequences. This could be as simple as taking a few minutes each evening to think about the choices you made throughout the day. Were there moments when you lacked self-control? What triggered it? Understanding these patterns is the first step towards managing them. Another powerful technique is to set clear personal rules for behavior based on your values. Stoicism teaches us that living according to rational principles is key to a good life. By setting and following your own rules, for example, not checking your phone during meals or limiting time spent on social media, you exercise self-control in ways that directly improve your daily life and well-being. Visualization is another tool that can be incredibly helpful. Before entering a situation where you know you might be tempted to act impulsively, take a moment to visualize yourself handling the situation with calm and restraint. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel from acting in accordance with your principles. This mental rehearsal can make it much easier to keep your cool in the heat of the moment. It's also beneficial to gradually increase your tolerance for discomfort, which is a big part of what self-control is all about. The Stoics believe that by voluntarily exposing ourselves to discomfort, whether it's cold showers, fasting, or resisting urges, we can strengthen our willpower. These practices teach us that we can endure discomfort and that it's often not as bad as we fear. This realization directly feeds into our ability to exercise self-retreat in more complex emotional or social situations. Lastly, remember that practicing self-control is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you falter. That's just part of being human. What matters is that you recognize these moments, learn from them, and continue to strive for improvement. Each act of self-control, no matter how small, is a victory in its own right and a step towards becoming a wiser, more balanced person. To further increase the quality of your life, we recommend watching this video on how to deal with the toxic people in your life before they drain all your energy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Are you familiar with the frustration of a mind cluttered with noise, the agony of indecision, or the paralysis by analysis that comes with overthinking? We've all been there. Replaying conversations, anticipating outcomes, and trying to solve an endless string of what-ifs in our heads. Today, we will tackle this challenge head-on with 10 practical strategies to conquer overthinking. If you're looking for ways to break this cycle and reclaim your mental space, make sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe. Now, let's dive in. 1. Visualize your overthinking as an external force. Overthinking can sneak up on you like fog rolling in on what was a clear day. It starts as a single worry or idea, but quickly expands until it can knock you off your feet. It's a common struggle in today's fast-pacing world, where information hits us like hail in a storm. Our minds get crowded with thoughts of what if, what next, what could have been. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher king, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This brings us to our first technique, seeing overthinking as an external force. This isn't about making an enemy out of your thoughts, but recognizing that these thoughts are not the core of who you are. They are invaders of your peace. Imagine those invasive thoughts as clouds passing over a mountain. You are that mountain, majestic and immovable, standing firm as the clouds drift by. Now, how does one fend off these invaders? Stoicism teaches us to observe without engagement. Imagine placing these thoughts in a bubble and watching them float away. This mental exercise doesn't just lessen their weight. It reinforces the understanding that thoughts are transient. They can only disrupt your peace if you hold on to them and give them power. Practicing this visualization creates a mental reflex that can help you detach and let these thoughts go before they build into a storm. As you get better at distinguishing yourself from this barrage of overthinking, it becomes simpler to see that you are not just a sum of your thoughts. This distinction acts as a shield, much like earplugs in a noisy crowd. It's a deliberate, continual effort that grows stronger with everyday application. When you notice yourself beginning to overthink, stop and picture the thought as noise. Unnecessary and separate from who you are. By doing this, you're not only protecting yourself against overthinking, you're also taking back your mental territory and peace, one step at a time. 2. Take control by refocusing your energy. Have you ever caught yourself spiraling down a rabbit hole of what-ifs and doomsday scenarios? Replaying the same worries over and over until you're mentally exhausted. It's like having a bunch of browser tabs open in your mind, each with a video playing on full blast, and you can't seem to hit pause. This mental multitasking is a hallmark of modern life, where the pressure to stay on top of everything can lead to a relentless cycle of overthinking. But, just like a cluttered desk, a cluttered mind needs tidying up. Redirecting your mental energy isn't just about mental peace. It's about taking back control and quieting the endless noise of what could be, so you can appreciate what is. Seneca, another Stoic sage, effortlessly wove wisdom into words when he said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This sage advice serves as the cornerstone for taking control by refocusing your energy. To stop overthinking, start by grounding yourself in the now. Focus on a task, even something small, and channel your energy into completing it. This shift in focus pulls you out of the whirlpool of future what-ifs and anchors you in the present moment. The practical application is simple yet profound. Engage in an activity that requires your full attention. It could be as simple as organizing your workspace, going for a brisk walk, or losing yourself in a book. These acts require the now, not the tomorrow or the yesterday. By commanding your thoughts to align with your actions, you're not just distracting yourself, you're taking command of where your energy flows. Remember, Stoicism isn't about suppressing thoughts, it's about managing them. By choosing where to invest your mental energy, you're practicing a form of mental discipline. The goal is not to avoid overthinking entirely. That's an unrealistic expectation. The goal is to recognize when your thoughts do not serve you and to have the tools to redirect them. It's like training a muscle. The more you exercise this power of refocusing, the stronger and more resilient your mind becomes. You'll find that the once overwhelming tide of overthinking can be tamed, wave by wave, with deliberate action and presence. 3. Embrace eventually moving on. This visualization not only provides immediate relief, but also instills a deeper understanding that the nature of thought is to change. Making this practice a part of your daily routine can transform your relationship with your thoughts. It's not about forcing them out, but rather allowing them to leave. Letting go isn't giving up. It's an act of courage. It means you're choosing to not let redundant thoughts rent space in your head rent-free. As you get better at this, you'll notice a newfound mental space, a quietness that was always there, just hidden beneath the noise of overthinking. 4. Create a worry period. It's a common human experience to have worries nagging at the back of our mind, persistent, like the hum of a refrigerator, always there, sometimes barely noticeable but unmistakably present. These worries can hijack our thoughts at any hour, often when we're trying to concentrate on work, enjoy time with friends, or even when we're trying to sleep. It's like our mind is a stage, and these concerns are the uninvited actors who won't leave. But consider this wisdom from the Stoic teacher Epictetus. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This quote may seem off track, but it's a bold reminder to prioritize our peace of mind over succumbing to worry. in fear of seeming complacent or naive. Creating a worry period is a strategic way to give these concerns their moment on the stage, but only during the encore, not the main act. Set aside a specific time each day, maybe 20 minutes in the afternoon, when you're allowed to give these worries your full attention. During this designated time, dive into your worries, scrutinize them, understand their roots, and maybe even jot them down. What are you really worried about? How likely are these scenarios? What can you do about them? This focused session often reveals that many of our worries are like shadows, seemingly large but without much substance. When you face them head on, they lose their power. This process also teaches your mind that there's a time and place for worry, and it's not all day, every day. When the worry period ends, you move on. You've given your worries their allotted time, and now you put them aside. By compartmentalizing in this manner, you can regain control over your day. The goal isn't to stop worrying completely. That's impossible. But by containing your worries, you reduce their impact on your life. This technique is like tidying your mental room, putting thoughts where they belong and enjoying the tranquility of ordered space. You'll likely find that worries lose their power when they're not allowed to roam free, and life becomes a bit lighter, a bit more enjoyable. 5. Break down overwhelming thoughts into actionable steps. When overthinking strikes, it can feel like we're carrying the weight of an enormous boulder. The size of our worries seems to match the weight of the world, and we're pinned under the heavy cloud of our own thoughts. This sensation is not unique to us. It's a shared human condition, exacerbated in a world that demands high performance in all areas of life: work, relationships, personal growth, and social status. The pressure to excel can paralyze us with indecision and fear. As a guiding light through this fog of overthinking, Marcus Aurelius once offered, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound insight forms the bedrock of our 5th technique, transforming overwhelming thoughts into actionable steps. When your mind is racing with a big worry or a complex problem, the trick is to slice it down into smaller, manageable pieces. Ask yourself, what's the very next step I can take? Not all 5, 10, or 20 steps down the line, but just the next one. Acting on just one small step may seem trivial, but it's a powerful antidote to overthinking. By focusing on one action, you redirect energy from worrying to doing. It's a bit like untangling a giant knot. By working on one small tangle at a time, you aren't dismissing the complexity of your concerns. You're navigating through them with purpose and precision. The beauty of this technique is in its simplicity and effectiveness. Each small step you take builds momentum, and as you look back, you realize that boulder of worry is now a pile of pebbles. You've crossed over, one step at a time. This method teaches patience, resilience, and trust in one's ability to confront challenges head-on. Suddenly, what once seems insurmountable is behind you, and your overthinking is replaced with a sense of accomplishment and clarity. 6. Shift your perspective to gratitude. Our minds can be tricky. They often lure us into a maze of overthinking about what we lack, what could go wrong, or what we have yet to achieve. This is a relentless loop that can leave us feeling drained and discontent. Overthinking often stems from a focus on the negatives, or the not yet in life, overshadowing the good that's already present. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This nugget of Stoic wisdom is a call to shift our perspective from lack to abundance, from overthinking to gratitude. It's about recognizing the value of the present moment and the many blessings we often overlook when we're busy worrying about what's to come. The practice of gratitude pulls us out of the ruts of our minds and plants us firmly in the rich soil of now, where life is actually happening. To make this shift, start by acknowledging 3 things you're grateful for each day. They don't have to be grand, they just need to be genuine. It could be as simple as a delicious cup of coffee, the comfort of your favorite hoodie, or a message from a friend. This simple practice can pivot your mind away from the cycle of overthinking and towards a sense of appreciation for what is right now in your life. By anchoring yourself in gratitude, you're not only silencing the noise of overthinking, but also enriching your daily experience. Gratitude magnifies the positive in our lives and can slowly but surely transform our inner dialogue from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Over time, this new perspective can change how you approach life's challenges, turning them into opportunities to further recognize and appreciate what's already good in your world. This isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about building a foundation of contentment that can sustain you through the inevitable ups and downs life throws your way. 7. Focus on effort, not outcome. Overthinking is often the result of our mind's dance with the future, its outcomes, its what-ifs, and its relentless possibilities of failure and disappointment. This projection into the future can paralyze us with fear, as we obsess over the potential consequences of our actions, rather than the actions themselves. We live in an outcome-driven society where the end often justifies the means, and this can make us believe that if the outcome is uncertain, the journey is not worth embarking on. Yet a Stoic quote by Epictetus provides us with a clear directive. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our efforts and intentions rather than the outcomes we can't control. This doesn't mean we should not set goals or aspire to achieve great things, but it does mean that the true value lies in the quality of our effort, the integrity of our actions, and the virtue with which we navigate our path. To apply this technique, whenever you find yourself overthinking about the potential results of your efforts, consciously redirect your thoughts to the effort itself. Ask yourself, are you doing your best? Are you acting with good intent? Are you staying true to your values? This approach is about being fully present in the process, putting in the work, and knowing that it is where your responsibility ends. Its focus on effort can liberate us from the chains of overthinking. It allows us to be in the moment, give our best, without the heavy shadow of what could be darkening our experience. It transforms our actions from mere steps towards an outcome into expressions of our character and commitment. With this shift in focus, you find that your path is not just a means to an end, but an embodiment of living with purpose, where each step is an accomplishment in itself. 8. Practice voluntary discomfort. Our minds often lead us into a whirlpool of overthinking when faced with potential discomfort or change. We play scenarios over and over, trying to predict every outcome, preparing for every possible discomfort. This mental rehearsal can be exhausting. The comfort zone becomes a mental prison where growth is stunted and overthinking becomes the warden. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." This reflects the Stoic practice of engaging with challenges head-on, rather than avoiding them. By practicing voluntary discomfort, we can train our minds to handle uncertainty and reduce overthinking. It's about small, chosen actions that take us out of our comfort zones, teaching us resilience and adaptability. To integrate this into modern life, start with something small, like taking a cold shower, sleeping without a pillow, or walking instead of driving. Do something that disrupts your normal routine and sit with whatever feelings arise without judgment. This isn't about punishment. It's about showing yourself that discomfort isn't as scary as your overthinking mind makes it out to be. Voluntary discomfort has the paradoxical effect of increasing comfort with the various aspects of life. By routinely stepping into what's uncomfortable, the unfamiliar becomes familiar, and the mind learns to quiet. It becomes less reactive to change and more focused on what can be controlled: your responses. This powerful shift in perspective not only lessens overthinking, but also builds a core of inner strength that is unshaken by the ebbs and flows of life's circumstances. 9. Reflect on the transience of life. When we're caught in the storm of overthinking, it's often because we've zoomed in too closely on the minute details of our lives, losing sight of the bigger picture. Our thoughts become a tangle of "what if this happens?" or "what if that doesn't work out?", causing us to lose perspective. This microscopic view can make even the smallest issues appear insurmountable, consuming our mental space and energy. Seneca once wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it." This poignant reminder encourages us to reflect on the fleeting nature of our existence. Each moment spent overthinking is a moment not fully lived, a slice of life not savored. Stoicism prompts us to ask ourselves whether our worries will hold any weight in the grand timeline of our lives. To counteract overthinking, then, we should regularly take a step back and consider our life in its entirety. Recognize that many of the things that consume our thoughts are transient and, in the long run, insignificant. When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, pause and remind yourself that life is fleeting. Ask if this moment of overthinking is truly worthy of the limited time you have. By contemplating the transience of life, we naturally prioritize our experiences and concerns. This isn't a call to become morose or indifferent, but rather to cherish the present and to focus on what truly matters. It's a powerful antidote to overthinking because it aligns our attention with the present, enriches our appreciation for the now, and diminishes the weight of future-focused anxieties. Let the ephemeral nature of life not be a source of anxiety, but a canvas on which you paint with the vivid colors of presence and engaged living. 10. Seek wisdom from outside yourself. Our own minds can sometimes feel like a maze, where each turn leads to more confusion and overthinking. We try to solve a puzzle, only to find that the pieces keep multiplying, leaving us feeling stuck. This is the problem of overthinking in a nutshell, a cycle that starts and ends within the confines of our own thoughts, often without a clear exit. Seneca, a man celebrated for his wisdom, said, "Consult your friend on everything, especially on those matters concerning yourself. His counsel may then be useful where your own self-love might impair your judgment." These simple words encapsulate a profound truth that can help navigate the stormy seas of overthinking. Stoicism teaches us that seeking insight from outside ourselves can break the cycle of rumination. It could be the fresh perspective of a friend, the impartial advice of a mentor, or the timeless wisdom found in literature. Now, to apply this in a modern context, look for people whose opinions you trust and respect. It could be someone from your circle or a professional with the experience to guide you. Sharing your thoughts with them can help in two ways. It provides clarity as you articulate what's in your mind, and it opens the door for objective feedback that you may have missed while overthinking. This technique does more than offer practical solutions. It reminds us that human connection is invaluable. When we share our burdens, they often become lighter. This is not a weakness, but a recognition of the collective strength we have as social beings. Let the wisdom of others be the light that guides you out of the shadows of overthinking. With each conversation, you'll find the puzzle becoming easier to solve, not because the problems are any less complex, but because you are no longer trying to solve them in isolation. The journey to greatness begins with a single step: As we leave 2024 behind, it's time to ask ourselves, what can I do today to be the best version of myself tomorrow? As the final chapter of 2024 draws to a close, we stand at the threshold of a new dawn, beckoning us to embrace a moment of reflection and anticipation. Life's a bit like an uncharted journey, where each day offers a new chance to shape our destiny. The ancient Stoics, with their profound wisdom, understood this well. They weren't just philosophers lost in thought. They were realists, deeply connected with the rhythms of life. Imagine a quiet evening in late 2024. You're reflecting on the past year and pondering the future. It's not just about setting resolutions that might be forgotten. It's about embedding habits that will shape your life. So here are 10 habits crafted for the transition from 2024 to 2025. These aren't just ideas to ponder, they're actions to live by. And don't worry, we're not going to delve into complex jargon. This is advice for today, straightforward, practical, and directly applicable to your daily life. 1. Start small. George Washington, a man whose resolve shaped a nation, cherished the saying, "Many mickles make a muckle," a humble Scottish proverb. Yet it captures a profound truth. The grand is made up of the tiny. Similarly, Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, had it right when he said, "Well-being is realized by small steps, but it's no small thing." He understood that transformation doesn't happen in leaps, but in small, deliberate strides. Think of it like planting seeds. Each tiny seed has the potential to grow into something magnificent. So, how do we apply this? Let's say you aim to read more. Instead of setting an overwhelming goal, commit to a page a day. It's like building a mosaic. Each small piece adds to the grand picture. Remember, a walk begins with a single step, and a habit starts with a single action. James Clear's Atomic Habits echoes this sentiment beautifully. The essence of atomic habits isn't just in their explosive potential, but in their foundational nature. An atom, the smallest unit, holds immense power. Our smallest habits, similarly, are the building blocks of profound change. And here's a secret. It's not just about doing small things, but also thinking small. Avoid the trap of grand, unattainable promises. Instead, focus on what's right in front of you, the immediate, the achievable. As you string together these small victories, you'll find they lead to significant transformations. Remember, even the mightiest river starts as a trickle. So, as we step into 2025, let's embrace the power of starting small. After all, as Zeno would remind us, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. 2. Stop letting anxiety rule over you. There's a storm we all face, one that brews not in the sky but within us. Anxiety. It's a shadow that follows us, whispering about what could go wrong or what might happen. But here's a clear truth. You're not a puppet, and anxiety should not be the puppeteer. Marcus Aurelius, a man who helmed an empire, understood this. In his meditations, he wrote, "Today I escaped from anxiety, or no, I discarded it, because it was within me." That's a powerful realization. The turbulence isn't in the plane or the airport. It's in us. Now, how do we break free from this invisible chain? First, own your feelings. Recognize that anxiety is a product of your thoughts, not the world around you. It's like a fog clouding your vision, making mountains out of molehills. The key is to clear that fog, to see the world as it is, not as your fears paint it. Second, practice mindfulness. Take a moment, breathe, and ask yourself, is this worry a product of what's happening or what I fear might happen? More often than not, you'll find it's the latter. Finally, let's debunk a myth. Anxiety is not a preemptive solution to potential problems. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It doesn't prepare you, it paralyzes you. It's like sitting in a rocking chair. There's a lot of movement, but you're going nowhere. So, as we transition into the new year, let's pledge to unshackle ourselves from the chains of anxiety. Let's approach life with a clear mind and a steady heart. As Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Remember, the only storm you need to weather is the one inside you. 3. Create a routine. Imagine your day as a blank canvas. Without a plan, it's just a space waiting to be filled haphazardly. But with a routine, it's a masterpiece in the making. The power of a routine lies not in rigidity, but in providing a framework to channel your energy effectively. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher whose wisdom has traversed centuries, once said, "Life without a design is erratic." He knew that a well-structured day is a well-spent day. So how do you craft this routine? It's not about copying someone else's schedule. It's about creating one that resonates with you. Start by identifying your most productive time of the day. Are you a morning person, like me, who thrives in the quiet hours of dawn? Or does your energy peak as the day unfolds? Tailor your routine around this natural rhythm. Dedicate your prime hours to your most important tasks, the ones that require your full attention and creativity. For me, it's about owning the morning, not letting it own me. I start with activities that set a positive tone for the day, a walk, a moment of reflection, or tackling a creative project before the world wakes up. But remember, routine isn't just about work. It's about balance. Integrate habits that nourish your mind, body, and soul. Maybe it's reading, exercising, or spending quality time with loved ones. And crucially, stick to your routine. Consistency is the glue that holds it all together. As you build this routine, you'll find that it becomes a foundation for good habits to grow. After all, as Seneca reminds us, principles are necessary. And what's a routine if not a principle you live by every day? Embrace the structure and watch as uncertain chaos transforms into a symphony of productivity and peace. 4. Give yourself the order to stop. There's a story that echoes through time, not of a battle or a conquest, but of a personal victory. Dwight D. Eisenhower, a man whose decisions shaped history, faced a formidable foe: his 4-pack-a-day smoking habit. His doctor's words were a clarion call: quit or face dire consequences. Eisenhower's response: he gave himself an order to stop, and just like that, he quit cold turkey after 40 years. This is a testament to a profound principle. No man is free who is not master of himself, as Epictetus once said. This tale isn't just about overcoming a smoking habit. It's about conquering any vice that holds you captive. We all have our battles, be it with unhealthy habits, procrastination, or negative thinking. The key to victory lies in giving yourself the order to stop. It's about asserting control over your impulses, rather than letting them control you. Seneca, another Stoic sage, observed, "We are all slaves to something, but the beauty of Stoicism lies in recognizing that we hold the keys to our own chains." So how do you apply this to your life? Identify that one thing. Maybe it's that extra cup of coffee, endless scrolling on social media, or any habit that's more of a hindrance than a help. Acknowledge its impact on your life. Then make a firm, unequivocal decision to stop. It's not about gradual change. It's about a definitive, deliberate action. When you give yourself the order to stop, you're not just breaking a habit, you're reclaiming your freedom. As you step into 2025, carry this empowering message. You are the commander of your destiny, and the first command is to master yourself. 5. free up precious resources. Time, the most valuable resource we have, is often squandered on trivialities. We claim to be starved of time, yet a glance at our screen time reveals the truth. It's not about having more time, it's about using the time we have wisely. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's essential. Epictetus, a philosopher known for his practical wisdom, said, "If you wish to improve, be willing to appear clueless or stupid about some things." This is about making a conscious choice to not get sucked into the vortex of non-essentials, be it doom scrolling, excessive news consumption, or other digital distractions. The strategy here is twofold: awareness and action. First, become acutely aware of where your time goes. Track your activities for a day or a week. You'll likely be surprised at how much time is spent on activities that add little value to your life. This awareness is the first step toward change. Next, take decisive action. Start by reducing the time spent on these distractions. Set limits on your app usage. Designate specific times for news consumption, and avoid aimlessly browsing the internet. This isn't about cutting off from the world, but about choosing not to drown in it. As you reclaim your time, you'll find you have more of it for things that truly matter: pursuing your goals, nurturing relationships, and fostering personal growth. This habit isn't just about time management, it's about life management. It's about ensuring that the precious hours of your day are spent on pursuits that enrich your life, not deplete it. As we transition into 2025, let's remind ourselves of Epictetus's words and focus our energy and time on what truly contributes to our well-being and growth. Remember, every minute spent on something meaningless is a minute taken away from something meaningful. 6. Do something difficult. At the dawn of each new year, Seneca, a Stoic heavyweight, didn't just make resolutions. He made a statement. He plunged into the icy waters of the Tiber River. It wasn't for a swim. It was a declaration of mastery over himself. He was saying loud and clear, "I'm in charge." This act wasn't about the chill of the water. It was about the fire it kindled within, a fire of self-assertion and resilience. It's a vivid reminder that sometimes doing something difficult can be the most empowering act. So how do we bring this lesson into our lives? It starts with stepping out of our comfort zone. Choose something that challenges you, something that makes you a bit uneasy. It could be anything: waking up an hour earlier, taking a cold shower, speaking up in a meeting, or even learning a new skill. The task itself isn't as important as the act of pushing your boundaries. It's in these moments of discomfort that we grow the most. It's where we discover what we are truly capable of. The essence of this practice lies not in the difficulty itself, but in the assertion of your will over your instincts. It's a testament to your inner strength, a demonstration that you are more than your fears and hesitations. As you embark on this journey of doing something difficult, remember Seneca's unspoken message: I control my actions, my reactions, and my mind. Let 2025 be the year you embrace challenge, where you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. After all, in the face of challenges, we don't just survive, we thrive. 7. Associate with people who make you better. The company we keep molds us more than we often realize. It's like walking through a forest. The paths you choose determine where you end up. This idea isn't new. The Stoics understood the power of association. Seneca, through his letters, demonstrated the value of surrounding oneself with people who inspire growth and wisdom. He once wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." This isn't just about choosing friends. It's about choosing influences that shape your character and your life. So how do you apply this in today's world? Start by taking a close look at your circle. Who are the people you spend the most time with? Do they embody the qualities you admire and aspire to? It's not about finding perfect people. It's about finding those who challenge you, support your growth, and share your values. It's like planting yourself in fertile soil where the environment is conducive to growth. Remember, if you dwell with those who limp, you'll learn to limp too. This isn't just about avoiding negative influences. It's also about actively seeking positive ones. Create your own circle, be it a book club, a discussion group, or just a set of friends committed to personal growth. Engage in activities that enrich your mind and soul. Discuss ideas, debate philosophically, and challenge each other. As Seneca said, "We learn as we teach." By surrounding yourself with people who push you to be better, you'll find that you don't just rise to the occasion, you rise above it. Let 2025 be the year you cultivate your garden of influences, ensuring that every person in it adds value to your life's journey. 8. Stop fearing change. Embracing change is like learning to ride the waves. Resist, and you'll be toppled over. Adapt, and you'll be carried forward. Marcus Aurelius, in his reflective meditations, mused on the nature of change. He understood that life's rhythm is a constant ebb and flow of transformation. By fearing change, we close ourselves off to the myriad possibilities and opportunities it brings. It's not just about accepting change, it's about welcoming it with open arms. To incorporate this into your life, start by shifting your perspective. View change not as a threat, but as an inevitable and exciting part of life. It's a chance for growth, learning, and new experiences. This year, challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Try something new, be it a hobby, a career move, or even a new way of thinking. It's in these moments of uncertainty and novelty that we often find our most profound growth and satisfaction. Moreover, develop a mindset of adaptability. Like a tree that bends in the wind but doesn't break, learn to be flexible in the face of change. Adaptability doesn't mean being passive. It's about actively finding ways to thrive in new circumstances. As you navigate the changing landscapes of life, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Let 2025 be the year where you ride the waves of change with skill and grace, turning every new challenge into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. As you navigate the changing landscapes of life, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Let 2025 be the year where you ride the waves of change with skill and grace, turning every new challenge into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. 9. Say no to the inessential. In a world brimming with choices and distractions, the art of saying no becomes a superpower. Marcus Aurelius, a man who juggled the complexities of ruling an empire, recognized the power in discernment. He wisely noted that much of what we do isn't essential. By saying no to the inessential, we don't just free up time, we amplify our ability to focus on what truly matters. It's about making room for the essential by clearing out the clutter. To adopt this in your life, start by evaluating your commitments. Are they aligning with your values and goals? It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of busy work that contributes little to our overall purpose. Practice the art of saying no to these distractions. This doesn't mean becoming aloof or unhelpful. It's about setting boundaries that enable you to dedicate your energy to pursuits that are genuinely meaningful. Remember, every time you say yes to something insignificant, you're indirectly saying no to something important. Flip this equation. Make your yeses count. Give an emphatic, wholehearted yes to activities that enrich your life, whether it's personal development, relationships, or your passions. This selective yes is not just a response, it's a commitment to excellence in what truly matters. As you move into the new year, let your yes be reserved for what brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. Echoing Aurelius's wisdom, ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Allow 2025 to be the year where you refine the delicate and impactful skill of declining the non-essential, thereby charting a path toward a life rich in focus, purpose, and deep satisfaction. 10. Come back to rhythm. Embracing our humanity includes accepting our imperfections and missteps. Marcus Aurelius, a leader who navigated the complexities of life and empire, knew well the inevitability of faltering. He once reflected on the importance of not just getting up when we fall, but also recognizing the beauty in our humanity that allows us to do so. It's a call to understand that stumbling is part of our journey, not a deviation from it. In practical terms, this means adopting a mindset of resilience and forgiveness. When you slip up on your diet, miss a workout, or falter in your resolutions, don't view it as a failure. Instead, see it as an integral part of the process of growth. The key is in how you respond to these setbacks. Do you berate yourself, or do you acknowledge the slip and gently steer yourself back on track? Embrace the latter approach. It's about creating a habit of self-compassion and persistence. Each time you return to your path, you reinforce the habit of resilience. Celebrate your capacity to return to your rhythm, no matter how many times you might lose it. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress and the continuous journey back to what matters. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. As we stride forward into 2025, let's carry with us the essence of these practices, not just as concepts, but as daily actions that mold our lives. Remember, the journey towards self-discipline, resilience, and serenity isn't just about understanding Stoicism, it's about living it. Each day offers a new canvas, and your actions are the brushstrokes that paint your life's portrait. So start today. Pick a practice. Maybe it's a moment of morning reflection or an act of kindness, and see how it transforms your world. Your feedback and stories of transformation are the fuel that keeps this journey vibrant and evolving. Together, let's explore this path of continual growth and share our experiences, shaping not just our own lives, but also inspiring those around us. We recommend watching this video on the best practices that will make you smarter no matter what.